believe in destiny, that even the powers of time can be altered for a single purpose, that the luckiest man who walks on this earth is the one who finds the Neon Crew podcast. During, I think, one of your favorite phases of the movie, Gary Oldman's many hats that he puts on, actual hats and also personas, you know?
Was that him walking the streets of London?
Yeah, with the top hat.
Yeah, that's when when they morphed into some of these inner dialogues that they just randomly have.
Just kind of slip into, very philosophical musings of destiny and romance.
Yeah.
And
we have a narrator that's also the main character.
The spiritual curse of immortality and how that equates to just endless misery. When we were watching the movie that we're going to talk about, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Megan pointed out he's got great sunglasses.
Oh, dude, those blue ones?
Yeah.
Dude, that whole attire.
Where they're like kind of hanging a little low.
Yeah. The whole attire. The top hat with those things on and then the long hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the color of the outfit too.
Yes.
Like kind of muted gray, but it's like it's popping off enough. Sticks out.
Well, and then it gets accentuated by those glasses.
Yeah.
Right?
And like the long hair.
The long black hair.
It works when he's got the hat on too, because Gary Oldman in this movie has such a big forehead.
Yes.
I don't know if that's like done on purpose, if it's just like normally that's how high his hairline is. But it really does him wonders to have the hat on with the long hair. Because when he takes it off, it's like, oh boy.
Hello.
I can take a hike up that bad
That's
boy.
That's a 5 head right there.
Yeah, and I can say that because I'm legally bald.
Yeah, you're allowed to judge.
Yeah, exactly. I'm allowed to judge. Well, we are going to be judging these movies. Welcome, everybody, to episode 106 of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
I'm Matt.
Neon Crew podcast?
Question mark?
More like Neon Spooky podcast.
I was going to go with the Neon Boo podcast.
Neon Boo podcast. That's 1,000 times better than what I came up with. Scary contributions. So this is going to be a spooky episode.
Spooky.
You guys can look forward to us talking about some Halloween-themed films on this installment.
Kind of a spooky day.
Kind of a spooky day. We're recording this on October 22nd. It's very cloudy, very overcasty. There's some people roaming the streets, but I think it's just because there's like a church service going on.
Yeah.
But
ne'er-do-wells.
Gives off some Halloween vibes.
Yes.
And it's one of my favorite times of the year.
There's tomato soup in there.
There's potato soup, tomato soup.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Some sort of soup.
Whatever
aroma.
Ado soup you want.
Yeah.
It's casting a very specific feeling in the air.
Yeah.
Quite literally. Halloween, great time for spooky movies. I've been watching some horror films this past week.
The season.
Yeah. So I watched 2 of the first Evil Dead movies. Watched those for the first time.
I think I've seen them.
Enjoyed those. Watched Black Phone 2 in theaters. We talked about the first one on this podcast.
We did. I think I was like kind of like tiptoed in the water, and you were just like, that movie fucking sucked. And then I was like, at the very end, I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. It did suck.
I think I gave it a 5. It wasn't like the worst thing ever.
A 5?
Yeah. 5 for me is like just like not really effectual. Just sort of
at some point we need to have like our like rating systems out and like what it means. So if you gave a movie a 5, like probably won't rewatch it. Whereas if I gave a movie a 5, I am like,
yeah, you're done.
See you later.
Yeah, it's like wouldn't want to be you, pal.
Yeah, maybe that sticks in the memory bank, maybe not. That's what a 5 means to me, because a 4 and lower, gone.
Yeah, I'm not going to think about you as I roll over you with the back of my tire.
Yeah.
That bump in the road, I'm going to forget about it in a second.
In 1 second, half a second.
The new Black Phone, not bad.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah. I was wondering...
Great vibes, great winter vibes.
It's funny because I saw the trailer for it and I was like, it just made me go back to our discussion on it and just think like how you pelted the thing.
Fucking laid haymakers on that bad boy.
Oh, dude, it'd be like a stranger coming into your home and you had a baseball bat. Like
that one right there.
Yeah.
I'm pointing to a bat in the room physically.
the Peacemaker from
not a vampire
Silver
bat,
Bullet.
just to be clear.
Yeah.
Not a vampire bat, not a spooky bat.
You're coming up with these puns. All right, we got a count going. We're at
Count?
2. Oh, 3. Damn it, I did it. Yeah, but I just imagine that like you wouldn't stop laying blows on it, and that's how it felt on the first one. So, but I was thinking like I wonder if they lean more into the horror aspect of it and a little bit of the Ethan Hawke character, because I think that's what was a little bit missing from that first one. They focused a lot of the story on the kid, and like you thought it'd be more creepy.
It's a lot of like problem solving, which admittedly is like kind of my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah,
but what really kind of works about this new one is the Ethan Hawke presence and. More so just kind of leaning into like the supernatural of it, because the first movie kind of sets that up with the sister character.
Yeah.
And in this new one, she's more of a focus.
Okay.
And like it's kind of centralized on like her figuring out what's going on.
Hey, did you say that was lazy writing in the first one? Just having her have it, and then you're like, we're not even touching on it?
I probably did.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like a thrown in element that it's like, okay, if this movie's not getting a follow up and not exploring this any further, then why bother?
Yep.
It just kind of felt like thrown in there because of the, you know, Stephen King origins of it all, the things written by his son. That being said, there is a scene in the beginning of the movie. This isn't a spoiler. It's in the beginning of the movie where Finney is like beating up another kid. That was me to the first movie.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I'm Finney, and the other kid is the movie, and I'm just beating the fuck out of it.
Grab that video, and then put your face over that kid, and then put the Black Phone 1 poster on the other kid's face, and just have that go.
He's just like fucking laying into him, like walloping the poor bastard. And it's like, wow, is this what I did to this poor Scott Derrickson film?
I felt attacked on my opinion being wrong. Usually we don't have that in here. We're both very respectful of the opinions, but like that's that's the first time I felt like, wow, I missed this, and I'm a little embarrassed. That, and then
don't be embarrassed. Come on.
What was the Kenneth movie, the Oscar one?
Oppenheimer?
No. He's in that.
I was thinking of Christopher Nolan when he went.
It's the kid in Ireland.
The kid in Ireland.
Remember that's how forgettable this movie is.
Oh, Belfast?
Yes.
Oh,
remember Belfast was another one where I was like, I'm not really sure how I feel. And then by the end of it, we were both like 3.
Yeah. I think I gave it a 4, but yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of, swung in the same direction at that discussion.
Big swing and miss. Yeah.
Right.
So those have probably been the only 2 movies where I felt attacked for. I don't know, it's like, wow, I think I was way off. I'm just too nice on film sometimes.
No, people have their different. I was talking to Gideon about this and how it something that I've kind of gauged with myself as I've watched more movies and have talked about them with people is that I feel like with me personally, everything else just kind of comes later, and the initial feeling is true to how I feel about the movie, and I'm open to a little bit more fluidity when it comes to talking about it, when it comes to thinking back on films. Sometimes I'll go into a movie and give it like, yeah, this is like a solid 8 out of 10. Like I had a great time with it. And then, a week will go by and I'll think to myself like, I'm not thinking about this movie as much as I thought I would. It's not sticking with me. There are some things about it that are just like inherently, they just don't work.
Yeah.
And so, I go back, I lower my rating, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, you got to let it marinate.
Yeah, sometimes you got to let it marinate. Sometimes you got to talk it out.
Tomato soup in there.
Exactly. You got to stir up some of the feelings that aren't coming up to the surface sometimes,
Yeah, that actually, you know what that movie for me right now is? One battle after another.
Really?
I've got an itch to watch it again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know why, but I've just got it like every other day it just pops in and I'm like, I can't wait till that thing's streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that with who I want to show movies to and like what movies I want to show people. So I'm thinking to myself, would I be able to show my parents One Battle After Another and they have a good time with it?
Yeah.
So the thought experiment of like, I kind of just want to like re-experience this for the first time through somebody else.
You know what movie that is for me?
Yeah.
One we're going to discuss.
Oh?
Yeah. Teaser.
Well, speaking of teaser,
whoa,
we can jump right into little bit of teasing suspense.
Yeah.
Teasing a bit of that bit of that point of view, cinematography, bit of that score.
Boobs.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I think it might have been a little overplayed.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it with
we will.
Halloween.
Halloween. Spooky.
John Carpenter's Halloween. Advertised as such, apparently. According to Wikipedia. John Carpenter's name apparently even meant something back then.
I think the movie had such a low budget and poor marketing they had to staple his name on there. I wonder what one this is in his zeitgeist.
In his filmography?
Yeah, I'll look that up if you want to go into the thing on it.
Yeah. So this film is Halloween. We're talking about it. We paired it up with Dracula. Felt appropriate for the season and the movie that we're going to be discussing after this. So this is directed and scored by John Carpenter. Screenplay by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. It stars Donald Pleasance as a doctor, Dr. Sam Loomis. Jamie Lee Curtis in her film debut, or at least like kind of the one that shot her into the stratosphere, as Laurie Strode. Nick Castle as the Shape, aka Michael Myers. Also Tony Moran. Nancy Kyes as Annie Brackett, and a few other characters that pop in and out. So this is a film about a young boy who we start off. We see this very intriguing, immediately investing POV perspective shot of this little boy in his Halloween costume, kind of spying on his older sister and her boyfriend, making nookie on the couch.
Whoa.
Making out, doing a little face-to-face mashing, whatever the kids say now.
That's
that I think I got it right.
I coach high school football. That's what they say all the time.
Okay, Max here to verify. And
third movie in the filmography.
They're basically going at it, and they're like, "Oh, where's the kid?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm sure he's fine playing somewhere." She's kind of meant to babysit her little brother. Yeah. And he packs up. He heads out. She goes upstairs, and the brother follows her up there. We see it in his point of view, and he stabs her with a kitchen knife, goes outside, waits for the parents to get home. They come home. They're like, "What happened, Michael? What's going on?" And
Normal.
then
I think it's a fair question.
Right. Very, very fair question to ask your 6-year-old son who's standing in your yard holding a knife.
With blood
on it. And so it zooms out. We see that it's this little boy, Michael Myers, 6 years old, who is in his clown costume. We can assume that it's Halloween. Or do they say it in the opening sort of crawl?
I can't quite remember.
I can't quite remember either. Either way, it's indicated to us that it's Halloween. It jumps, I believe, what does it say, 15 years later?
Something like that.
And we're in this town called
Thorax.
Haddonfield.
That was close.
Very close. I'm here to verify. We're in this town of Haddonfield, this very nice kind of put together, very lush suburb. And we're following Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who is this high schooler who is set to babysit this kid on Halloween night. And throughout those events, we learn that Michael Myers, who is all grown up, escapes from his asylum and is heading back to his old stomping grounds. So, spoiler alert for Halloween 1978. If you haven't seen this movie, better get on it. It's an old one. Classic. Even though I say that and I watched this for the first time like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
It was my first viewing experience. I had not seen a Halloween movie installment. Really have not dived too deep into the kind of iconic slasher movies like your Friday the 13th, your Nightmare on Elm Streets, Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
This was the first one. And, if we're not counting like Evil Dead and what, those kind of feel like a league of their own.
Yeah. The B League.
And going into this movie, I knew, okay, this is the only one that John Carpenter directed. What other John Carpenter movies have we officially discussed? I know we did The Thing and Big Trouble in Little China. There's the only two. We haven't done Escape from New York.
Have not.
And we haven't. Did we do They Live?
No, not yet.
Damn.
That gets on there every time I always want to recommend it and I forget.
Yeah, because those are the 4 that I've seen. I don't think I've seen any other ones besides.
Oh, I mean, let's see. I've seen Vampires. They Live.
Talk about vampires
Prince
later.
of Darkness. Christine. Escape from New York. The Fog. Halloween. Assault on Precinct 13. So I've seen half of his films, maybe.
Yeah, a good portion.
Yeah, couldn't remember. I mean, couldn't tell you.
Solid lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of one of the ones that like really like shot him into the light of like horror genre filmmaker, right? Like
I think so. They had this, The Fog, and then I mean, like so it's horror, but like all this stuff is like maybe I don't want to say elevated horror. I don't know. This is this one's odd to me because like before the slasher psychological thrill, like these type movies, you didn't really have the slasher, right? It was all Frankenstein, Wolfman, vampire, like it was all creatures of the night, right?
Kind of like, oh, strange things and tales to consider. Like, kind of like very bubblegum pop comic-y sort of like, oh, the monster is the spectacle.
Like Night of the like zombies were kind of a thing,
right?
Night of the Living Dead, right? And yeah, so I think this is like the first one that kind of. I think this one it was very successful in theaters, I want to say.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It made $70 million off of a
$15,000 budget.
$300,000.
Yeah.
But, you know, chump change compared to what movies could be
John
made
Carpenter
for.
directing it.
I think he only got like $10,000 from what I read.
He had to have a stake in it or something.
From him directing, writing, and making the music.
Yeah, or maybe this was Take a Shot on Me. I'll show you what I can do.
Yeah, I think he did end up getting a portion of the movie.
But this thing, so like the first time I saw this was probably in the 90s, and I remember it was like on AMC or something. So like, you know, the boobs were not involved.
Yeah.
And
this is a very AMC movie.
Especially at that time.
Drew and I were talking about movies that are just inherently channel movies.
Oh yeah,
like how The Dark Knight is kind of like a TNT movie now,
dude. We were leaving football today, and the head man was like, "Yeah, I love Daniel Day-Lewis movies," and he named like 3. I go, and you know, so I was like, "Last of the Mohicans." He's like, "Yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe. I can't remember." I'm like, "Dude, TNT classic." Like that was always on TNT.
Yeah. And
so this thing, like Halloween, I think this was kind of like the Christmas Story on AMC. Like you're gonna see Halloween on the channel.
Yeah, or there's gonna be like a Halloween marathon because there's like fucking 13 movies now.
Yeah, speak of the franchise, but yeah, this was a new take on it, and because I remember my dad telling me about just how scary it was, and I think he went and saw it in theaters with I don't know, some chick he was courting, you know, and just being like like scared to go home. They got out of the theater, and I think he sprint to the car.
You know, really?
Yeah, well, because like you got to think it's 78, right? And there's not a lot of like psychological thrillers out there. You know, the serial killer stuff isn't like a big thing. Like people know that someone kills someone, but like, you know, you're not consuming mass media everywhere. It's like if it hits your local papers, you know about it. If not, you're just a small town person.
Yeah, well,
right?
And it's also to this movie's credit too that like what we were talking about before. How horror movies were just like, oh, there's a monster afoot. Like, there's like an element of like, okay, you know, this might be scary to people at the time, but there's this element of like, I know this isn't real. I know this isn't, you know, mummies aren't real. Fucking Frankenstein's not going to come out and get me.
Right.
This movie is about a dude who hides in the darkness in a mask who's just like crazy and could like follow you at nighttime. And
that's what I'm saying.
It's like, yeah, pretty fucking unnerving if you're coming out of the theater and it's nighttime.
It feels like, I mean, it's kind of like Jaws, except, you know, on land, right?
This will make you view the road differently. You'll never look at houses the same way. But yeah, there is that element of like this could happen to me if
Yeah.
I'm just like chilling in my house Halloween night. I've got nothing going on. All of a sudden, this like psychopath comes in and starts trying to stab me.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, like they ease it a little bit with the backdrop of a mental facility, but that's not really like, oh God, he escaped from the ward. Oh, that will never happen. You know, like that's about the only thing that would make it maybe less plausible. But
later on, we learned, okay, there's like more of an etherealness going on. There's like some kind of like fantastical drive that is motivating this character.
we think.
Right. Maybe, possibly.
Yeah.
Haven't seen the other ones yet, so it's hard to say. But because Michael Myers is sort of just framed as this is an embodiment of evil in a way. You know, we talked about how in No Country for Old Men, Anton Chigurh is like a walking specter who views himself as like a Terminator.
Yes.
Like I'm going through and I'm enacting destiny upon these people and I'm just the instrument. Whereas like this movie kind of takes that and really distills it into this thing of like, yeah, there's like nothing behind this guy's eyes as far as like emotion or personality or anything motivating him to do this. He is just doing it because he is evil.
Yes.
Like that, not that he has the qualities of an evil person, that he is the manifestation of evil.
Yes.
And the characters, I'm pretty sure the doctor character goes so far as to say that in the movie's dialogue.
I was about to say he does, like when they're Donald Pleasance. I was right. When they're driving up, he's kind of going on his like whole like, which also to me was killing me. I'm like, all right, 6-year-old kid kills his sister. Like, yeah, not great, right? But for them to be driving up and him just like going on this tangent about how this guy is this, that, and the other, it's like, caught him when he was 6. You know, what was he just doing? Push-ups and sit-ups and just staring at the wall in there? Like, how did he, but it does go into that psychological framework, right? Like, it's just eroded. It's just who he is and the manifestation of all the wrong in the world.
Yeah. It's a good kind of effective character building while also giving like some exposition of what we can expect.
Yes, like the not the surrealness of it, but the suspense throughout this thing as it builds up, right? Like you have to have that air of mystery of, all right, I know this isn't a good dude, but like what could he do, right? Like some of that, a lot of the tension's predicated on this being set up early on, right? Because you get into that slow burn probably through like the whole second act.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a lot of dialogue just on a telephone.
Right. It's just it's expositionary in a way that's like I can believe that like because these characters have never experienced this type of thing before. And it's like really the first time if we're thinking about like the timeline of when this movie came out.
That's what you have to.
It's like the first time that the people are going to the movies experiencing this type of thing.
Yes.
So you kind of have to have characters explain, all right, what this means in the context of what you're about to watch, but also just like the characters in universe obviously have never encountered this sort of thing before.
Right.
Like we watch something like The Walking Dead. It's like we don't really need the main characters to explain to us like how zombies work and like what happens if you like shoot one in the head or whatever for too long, right? Mean, we already kind of know what we're getting into.
Or having someone pop in there and talk about how bad the zombies are and like, yeah, like set up that air of horror for you to be like put in a state of dread.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas this one, yeah, no one's seen like a guy running around stabbing people. It's
one that's escaped an asylum who has this like kind of haunted history in this town that like people kind of whisper to each other like boys in school, like, oh, the Myers house, and stay away from this.
Yeah, like, the folklore coming to life. Really, I mean, like Hansel and Gretel, if that witch fucking came out.
One of my favorite things about this movie is how it takes that sort of like kind of suburban mythos and really applies it in an effective way. Because I mean, I didn't really necessarily have this. I don't know if you did, but a lot of kids growing up, I would imagine, have this sort of thing of like, oh, that's the Keller house. That's where the massacre of '84 happened or whatever.
You'd have to grow up in a town where something happened.
I guess, yeah.
Like there's, I don't know if people just run up to it now. I mean, like we'd go and run up to a band, like you'd see some vacant areas, and maybe you come up with a little story then that would put you in a state of peril. But.
Right. But again, it's just like tapping into that kind of mythic fear.
Yes.
And realizing it in a way that's like, oh, I could see this happening. Like some psychopath who grew up here is broken out of prison or whatever and has come back to wreak havoc for some reason.
Well, so there's a little bit of the play on like, I'm going to scare my buddy with this. Like, do Ghost in the Graveyard, right? I'm going to scare my buddy with this. But then there's also that element that everyone knows that there is a true story behind it. Because Donald Pleasance comes up and he scares the crap out of those kids. By the way, I think it's the only time he smiles in this film.
Did he smile?
Yeah, get off the tree, you little fox. And then like they run away and he's like,
he's a little proud of himself.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Watch it. I was like, oh my God, like that guy's sick. But like my point is that you have there's believability within the story itself because there's some truth behind it. So it's not just, hey, vacant lot, that's where the zombies are, Like there is an element of like, oh, I'm going to scare my buddy, but when it comes down to it, like I do believe that there is something inherently wrong with this place. And that like there's small things like that really aid this film. They kind of keep up with some of the pacing in it.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like it's limited in its budget, but it does feel like it is utilizing it in a way that's effective and like kind of just bringing you into the immersion of it. So a lot of perspective shots, a lot of point of view camera work that I think is really effective. And one of my favorite things about this is just like how it quietly traipses through this suburban landscape and uses the kind of like interior environments, the shadows, the light, the way this movie looks is maybe my favorite thing about it. Is just like the presentation of the tension.
Yes.
How it's like drawing it out from the shadows, how you kind of just like are with the characters, but then sometimes you're with Michael Myers, and the way it cuts in between those two and how it leads up to like the kills and the sort of way that plays out is very satisfying.
Yeah. No, he does a good job. I mean, given the constraints that he has. I mean, we're going to take these 4 kids that are babysitting on Halloween night, and we're going to try to follow them around for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be creative with your shots to keep the audience engaged.
I mean, it gives a good excuse to like set it in a suburb, set it in a suburban environment where this thing is going on. Like it's in the title, Halloween, but you've set this up to where like, okay, there's like vulnerabilities here in this idea of comfortability, right? We like to think that in our own homes, nobody can get to us. We're in the safest place we can possibly be.
Yep.
And then there's this intrusion that completely takes that and flips it on its head. And it's like, no, you're actually like even more vulnerable than you would be maybe outside of this environment, right?
I mean, you could say, I mean, you're no longer safe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that, was it Maslow or the hierarchy of needs.
Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah. I mean, and not to say, I think like one of them's like shelter, food, water, shelter, right? And then you remove one of those, right? In a very simple aspect such as this, and all of a sudden it puts you in a state of dread, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nowhere you can run, there's nowhere you can hide, and they've laid it out like it's in this unstoppable force. So even in this peaceful neighborhood, one of my favorite scenes is when she's running around in the lawns, right, trying to get people to help her. And everyone's like, it's just some drunk high school chick. Larry, turn off the lights.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's even more telling that, you're just in the state of fear. You're running around and you're trying to save yourself, and that you can't even go up to your neighbors and get help, and then that feeling of isolation just has to be overwhelming.
Everyone being so like incubated in their own like warm, safe environments, air quotes safe.
Well, I mean, you are absolutely right. I mean, with you talking about someone like entering the home, and all of a sudden you're putting this I don't even know how to describe a chain of events, but
yeah, you're discombobulated in a way that you didn't expect. Very, very unpredictable. This movie was fun time. Good pairing with Dracula.
Both of them have their points of fun.
Yeah, a little bit. This movie was a little bit fun, if I do say so. I will say,
I don't know if you felt the same way. The second act dragged a little bit.
Big time.
I think that there is just this thing of what his intentions were of trying to get us to attach ourselves to the character, or like at least make us feel something for the characters that are in the film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the her friends, and you know the children, and you know all these people who are going to be the victims of what's going to happen. And I don't know, I feel like the sort of pacing of that, dragging itself out. I get that he tried to, you know, the intention was to introduce a point of tension, like drawing this out,
I think it was like that suspense,
making you ask, like, when is it going to happen?
Yeah, you're looking around every corner. You're kind of waiting for it. You're never really sure. And some of the jump scares are, they're supposed to really hit, and it's especially if you're hanging on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, and I think I would maybe be okay with that a little bit more if I had any attachment to the characters besides Laurie Strode, because I feel like some of the line delivery and the acting ability of the other side characters weren't entirely there for me to get behind that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know, the complete worst thing ever, but it was taking me out of it enough to where I had a hard time being like, okay, when's he gonna come? When is the thing going to happen to this character?
I mean, that's why I intentionally brought up the second act. I haven't seen this movie in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it used to be kind of like a Halloween staple. And I hadn't seen it in a while, and all my previous memories of it are always of the very beginning. And what I didn't realize is essentially the whole third act. And that second act was like, you know, so I was doing some work stuff, and I'm kind of watching it, and you know, like I said, I mean, yes, if you can't get behind the characters, I mean, and if it's just high school kids doing high school shit, so
right.
You know, how much do we really care what happens to them? We kind of know that this guy's out and about.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got the phone going off, and there's these jump scares, and like he's really trying to build up the heighten the suspense, you know, and it just. I don't know. It didn't really hit for me. I knew where he was going for, and I think that's why I said, you know, to me, like the music was overkill, because it was kind of like thrusting all this different stimulus at us, while he was like, "Yeah, it's not going to be fast, right? When this is going on, we got to set up to get to Halloween night. So what are we going to do?"
Yeah, I'm going to draw this out in a way that like will hopefully build intrigue, and I think for some people it probably does.
At the time, I mean,
right?
You know, at the time, like you're watching this as a 17-year-old kid. You've had a house party, or you know, some people come over. Like you're definitely watching this, going like, "Oh shit!"
Right?
You know. But now, I mean, for nowadays, yeah, I don't. You know, it's a little tough. It drags a little bit.
And that's not to say this movie's bad by any means. I think it's just one of those things where like time has kind of shown us that like, okay, there's other methods and ways of like getting us attached to characters, or like drawing out the tension,
this
or like
delivering the
pacing.
Old.
Right, and
you know?
it's just sort of like I think a victim of just like decades gone by of like other horror movies coming out, and just like us experiencing them in different ways. This thing is, I think, totemic in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one that I think I'm going to be super excited to revisit.
No,
right?
I agree. I agree 100%. And it's lost some of its lost some of its flavor. You know, and it's a classic. I mean, that's just what I leave it at. Because I always think about like, all right, it's 50 years. I go, what movie did I really enjoy from 1948 when I watched it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, or what movie was really sweet from 1953?
Right.
Like you're gonna have. That's just how time works. But I definitely think for it being of the time, it was ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
Right? Like if you can put yourself in a time machine and say, all right, I'm gonna go back and kind of just watch everyone else watch this thing, you know, to see what you've seen and then see what everyone else, and like this is, you know, we're so desensitized with how much crap we can watch nowadays. For someone for the first time to watch that, like that's why this thing knocked it out of the ball at 70 mil. I bet you in today, like that's like 315 mil on like probably like $6 million budget.
It's like the highest grossing horror movie of the year, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there is a version of this that takes some of those elements in the second act and kind of streamlines them, makes it a little bit quicker, kind of paces things along a little bit more streamlined, in my opinion. I think this is a movie in which, like, yeah, I could easily throw this on and, like, you know, it plays even better for me.
I would say, because I'm not disagreeing. I think it's really hard given the put it on paper, right? If you write it on paper, I think it'd be really hard to figure it out. I think that what they'd have to do is figure out a way to get you attached a little more to the characters, to care what is leading it, what's it getting led up to.
Yeah.
You know, like because with the slasher films, I always find it hard because everyone's going there to see the kills, you know, and unless you're sprinkling that in throughout, and at that point it's going to be diluted by the time you get to the third act, you know. I really do agree with what you said about the character attachment. Without having that, you just watch and go, stupid high school kids that are probably going to get killed, you know, and you're just waiting.
And I think there's like at least an attempt of that with showing Laurie's relationship with them. Like, I mean, her being the central figure of, like, kind of being shown as this, like, kind of bookish, like, introverted, doesn't really like going out, doesn't like...
Hey, Laurie, we're getting drinks tonight. Yeah. No, that's okay. I have to study.
Right. Very kind of like different personality from her friends that I think is sort of meant to be like, oh, you know, it's showing, like, the dynamic between them and, you know, how they kind of are trying to, like, bring out the better qualities in each other at certain moments. And I feel like a lot of that gets a little bit lost when you linger so long on kind of the mundanity of things, right? And I'm someone who appreciates, like, okay, we're kind of taking our time getting into this very proper, but I think for that, they're puzzle pieces that, like, almost fit but don't quite.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with that. I told like the second act to me, I didn't not necessarily wrote off. It's about the least of what I can remember of the film, except I was just, you know, to me, we're going to have like 6 phone calls in this thing. Like, that's how we're going to help out with some of the dialogue and the tension, or with the pacing of this and keeping characters around, you know. But maybe there was a little bit more of a point of Carpenter at the time because of, you know, small town America, right? Of like, hey, neighborhood near you. And then the people that are really going to relate to this are the ones that maybe experience this, you know, and kind of go through like this a little bit of a, you know, we got a neighborhood, but not a lot of people are out. Like, I can kind of get behind a little bit of what she's going through. But outside, yeah, I think it's harder, especially now with, like, you know, cell phones.
And after a certain point, I'm just waiting for, like, okay, when is Laurie going to have to deal with Michael Myers, and when is that part of the movie going to kick in for me to, like, really kind of lean forward and get back into?
I do think though that they did a really good job with that though.
I think so too. Yeah. Like when that third act kind of kicks off and it's just like a cat and mouse chase, simple, framed really interestingly through this house and this environment, this neighborhood.
Yep.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
Like that's my type of shit. My favorite shot probably in this whole movie is when she runs across the street back to the house that she's babysitting the kid at, and Michael Myers is like kind of slowly walking towards her. She gets up to the door, it's locked. She's trying to get the kids to wake up. She throws the pot up there, she sees the light come on. There's like that tension of like, are they going to get down in time to like unlock the door? Every time she turns around, he gets a little bit closer.
Yep. And
it's so good. It's so effective at like just bringing that ominous, chilling presence into effect of that scene. It's I don't know. It's really, it reminds you of like, oh God, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. Like, when am I going to turn around and it's going to be right there
or gone?
Right.
You know, like and then especially if it's not there, you know,
because I mean, I haven't seen the Friday the 13th movies, but like the sort of meme of that franchise is that Jason Voorhees can just like pop out at any moment.
Yeah. And
he's just right there and he'll just kill whatever character he's dealing with. I like that this shows you the danger coming at you in real time with the character, and I think that is like such a good choice of like building that tension.
Yeah, and with them laying the groundwork of unstoppable evil, you know, I mean, there's a little bit of believability with the folklore, or you know, like what's happening, right?
And it's a good choice to like just make him walk.
Yeah,
he just kind of saunters over, He's not like sprinting. He's not like, crawling on the walls or like jumping through windows.
That's what I was talking. Like the suspense of this thing is like the whole movie's a walk, right? Until like they actually start running. But that's what I was like. I do think that the suspense is build up leading us to that proverbial burst, and it's just because of his mannerism. It's the patience that he has, right? And I don't know if you saw like It Follows, but I have not. Yeah, there is that sense of just like you can get as far away as you want, right? And you think you got time, but eventually it catches up, and that's where this. It's got your skin crawling. Just think about it. Like run there. It's like, well, even if you do, at some point, maybe not in the next 15 minutes, but it's going to show up.
My favorite types of scares in movies are ones that I start to slowly see emerge from the darkness and are coming at me, as opposed to like it jumping out or like something startling me because of like a loud noise or whatever.
Yes.
Spooky image, just like on screen.
Spooky.
Beyond Boo podcast. So I read a little bit about the production. Found some interesting facts. One of the more interesting things I learned was that because Donald Pleasance was the biggest name attached to this movie, he was paid the most, and by the most I mean $20,000.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to guess how much Jamie Lee Curtis was paid?
$6,000.
Close. $8,000.
Nice.
If you were playing The Price is Right, you'd be at the Showcase Showdown.
Potentially. I
think Nick Castle made $25 a day.
Is that Michael Myers?
That's Michael Myers in The Mask.
Yeah. What do you... Okay, I know not to do a side tangent here.
No, go for it.
Did you appreciate the humanizing him?
I did. I mean, what do you mean by humanizing? Like him having the mask fall off?
Yes.
I did.
Okay.
Because it reminds you that this ultimately is a human, I guess?
That's what I'm saying. Like human, so the reason why I say humanizing is because if you put it in the element of horror, right? You have this unstoppable force. He can take unlimited damage. He's never going to go away, right? So there's that like supernatural element around it. So now, the mask falls off. That is a person, right? Does it add or take away to the effect of what Michael Myers represents?
I think it adds to the effect of reminding us as the viewers and maybe even the characters in the movie that there's a vulnerability.
Oh, okay. So you're going that route.
There's something there that like you take the mask off, there's this layer of protection that's being undone.
If it bleeds, we can kill it type deal.
The fact that he purposefully takes the time to pick the mask back up and put it on the way he does shows that there is something deeper in there that gets at the core of what he is and what he represents.
Okay.
Whether it's human, whether it's a weakness, whether it's this idea that like, maybe we could actually like get rid of this thing. I appreciate that scene is included.
Okay.
If it wasn't, I don't think it would like detract from the movie. I don't think it would make like a huge difference, but it is like an added layer that you do have to think about.
That's why I'm asking, because it's one of those things where it's like, watching it, I was like, interesting, and then I'm thinking about it, I was like, well, now I'm thinking about it, maybe, and then a lot of questions get raised from it happening. But I was just curious if that was going to be something where you watch and you're like, oh, jeez, okay, now I got to know that he's a guy, right?
Yeah,
because it's kind of how I felt outside, like with No Country for Old Men, the event that happens towards the end of the film, right, where we were kind of discussing it, and I had, I was like, whatever, it means this, and then you kind of hit it with the boom, 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 and it's like, oh yeah, no, that does play. That helps out with the character and making the character more, to me, more human. And I say it in the sense that like there's these, when you have these supernatural forces, right? You feel like they're indestructible.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that you can really do.
Like the clown from It.
Yes. So that's where it would come in if that clown in It had come out and then you found out it's some guy at a nursing home, right? Like,
right, yeah.
Does that take away? Does it add to it? Are you looking at it? All right, so this isn't supernatural, but this is, right. Where are we dipping our toe into?
Does this like diminish the value of like what we're trying to set up, or does it actually add a layer of intrigue to this thing?
Yeah, because you got Jamie Lee Curtis.
I think it's the latter.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I don't really have an opinion on it.
Because I mean, it's a memorable like I can see it clear as day in my head right now.
That's yes.
Tony Moran, who plays Michael Myers without the mask, was paid, I think, a total of $125.
Nice.
Yeah, which back then was like what, like $500 maybe.
Sure.
Go buy yourself a NES system when it comes out.
I'm
like
in a movie.
2 years
I'll
later.
take any amount of money you got. This thing's not going to do shit. $70 million later. I made how much?
I guess it did well for him. He was able to build kind of a career off of it in a way. But yeah, I just learned about like how much people were paid, what people were paid. You know, it was interesting to me. Yeah, budget of $300,000. Let me see if there's anything I missed in the sort of read on this. Took 10 days to write the screenplay. They based it on Haddonfield, New Jersey. One thing I did want to bring up.
Okay.
You mentioned how you kind of highlighted the scene where the doctor character, Dr. Loomis, is talking about how, I looked at him and there was nothing behind his eyes, just pure evil.
Yes.
I guess John Carpenter himself was basing that on an experience he had when he visited like a mental asylum or like a facility of some sort where they housed people with, mental disabilities and things of that nature. And he came across this 6-year-old boy who was dealing with some sort of schizophrenic disability and was just kind of like looking at him, and he was just staring.
Yep.
Just like looking off into the distance with like nothing going on.
Yep.
Like no interaction,
dude,
anything.
I don't want to cut you off. Is that it?
No, that was it.
Okay.
I was done.
No,
I'm sorry.
One of the old man yelling at the clouds that I get is when we start talking about like mental health, and you start talking about like psychological disorders, and I'm like, this movie is probably more fresh than someone being diagnosed with like multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's wild just how far we've come, and that's at a time, I'm sure, with James Carpenter seeing this kid just going like, he's nothing works back there. It's just a blank stare, pure evil, right? And it's such a old like caveman-y way to think,
a
right?
very reductive way to look at someone who is clearly dealing with like an actual mental health situation.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just wild that there's a show called Mindhunters when it gets in the FBI and they do the forensic psychological testing and trying to figure out pinpoint people on personality traits on like what you could have, what you could lead to, right?
Yeah.
And they had a case study that they were showing some cops, right? And they were trying to break the way of thinking, and they brought this up, and they brought up I think it was the Amityville Horror House maybe, and they were going through the case study about what the guy might have and traits that led up to it, and so he gets done with this. It's probably like a 2-hour presentation. In the show they obviously trim it, and so the guy asked the cops. He goes, "Hey, so what would you guys assess after seeing this? How would you assess the character or the individual, the suspect?" And one of the guys stands up. He goes, "I don't know, but I know evil when I see it, and that's pure evil." And it's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, right. Like, what is this contributing to?
Yeah,
trying to help the situation.
And I just think that that's what plays into this thing in 1978, though, is that's those thoughts that happen when you see him walking around with that knife. Is that there's not like boy, I wonder schizophrenia, maybe a dabble of autism in there or something. It's just someone going like, "Oh my God,
it's a monster."
Just nothing behind the eyes.
Well, I'm curious because I'm glad that you brought this up, because this is something that I wanted to ask into a greater discussion. Is how much do you think this movie is sort of either consciously or subconsciously putting forth the idea that he is this way because he was locked up for so long? Because there's this idea that like, I think about the scene in which like it pans away from him.
Yeah.
When he's got the knife in the yard and he's like the 6-year-old boy.
Yeah.
To me in that scene, he looks like he's scared. He looks like he's done something that he doesn't quite understand what he's done. And I mean, there's cases of like, these little kids who are like 6, 7, 8 years old who like do a terrible thing like this. You know, they kill another kid, or you know, they do something horrible, and like they don't necessarily completely understand the repercussions of what they've done.
Yeah.
Like there's a skewed view of like what death means and like what their actions have led to, this sort of thing. How much do you think this movie is sort of consciously acknowledging that him being taken away at such a young age and put in this place for 15 years contributed to him becoming the person that we see later in the movie, this like knife wielding killer?
Well, so that gets into like a nature versus nurture type argument, right? I think both the environment, but also your makeup plays on it. So, you know, as 1978 goes, I don't know if I'm giving him that much credit. I do feel like if you wanted to talk elevated horror, that would probably be the route to go down. Because
I feel like if you ask Carpenter himself, he'd probably just say like, yeah, I just wanted to make a killer. You know, that's how I did it.
Like, hey, and it kind of plays into the other film we're about to talk about. But there are points where, because of how sensitized we were back in the day, because like media wasn't out, you didn't have content at the end of your hands. You couldn't just go on the internet and find horrific images, right? The idea of something so pure and innocent as a child either being killed or killing something else is probably as dark as you could get. Right. So I think for Carpenter, he was just thinking like, all right, how can I make this person, the evolution of this person, be as evil as it could be? Well, let's get down to the rudimentary or the fundamental aspect of it, of, hey, like they're now getting into this phase of their life when you're making choices, and he made one of the worst choices that you could possibly make. You know, like watching it now, I think that's it. I don't think
So you're kind of subscribing more to like, kind of like
1,000% that he just did it because he saw a kid with a blank stare and went, "That's pretty creepy."
Right. The ends justify the means more so than just like.
Tainted purity.
Or yeah, we have to get from point A to point B, and this is the avenue I'm going to choose to do it, rather than like the movie kind of having more of an interiority about that sort of thing.
Yes, like I think what you're hinting at is that the fact that his environment and maybe, you know, mental homes in general, you can make an argument that this isn't the best way to help people deal with mental issues or put them through the best care to help out with what's going on, and that, you know, psychoanalytics and not therapists, but what the hell's what do you call them? I don't want to say shrinks.
Therapists?
Yeah, but there's you can like a psychotherapist. I can't remember exactly. I don't know why.
Sure. Yeah.
But my I don't think he was going that route into the hey, this is my attack on mental facilities and the byproducts that we have when we don't properly care for people. I think this was just the route that he took.
Yeah, the ends for the means sort of thing.
But I do want to say too, just a little disclaimer for anyone out there: if you have someone that you know or growing up that has zero to no empathy towards hurting a living creature in any capacity, have some conversations and figure some things out with that person.
Might want to get that checked out.
Yeah, because that's
maybe a little bit.
I think that's what. I don't think the kid was scared. I think that's what he was trying to go for, was that lack of empathy for what he did, and it was the I just killed this person, but I don't really reconcile or think about death in that light. Like you said, a skewed aspect of it, but also like not even caring that he did it.
Because you could read it maybe like a couple different ways. Like maybe you could read it he's scared. Maybe you could read it that he's like possessed.
Yeah, that's the supernatural element of it, right?
Yeah, like we're just using this kid as like a vessel.
That's where it gets into the myth. That's what I was asking about him taking off that mask, because it depends on the route that you look at this as, right? If you're going through the vessel, supernatural, he's evil reincarnated, and this isn't like a real person.
Yeah.
To me, at the very end, you'd be like, bullshit.
Because we you know, if you're like even remotely interested in like listening and consuming media about like true crime or whatever, you'll learn that like a lot of serial killers are described as sort of childlike. Like this idea that you know, they're kind of reverting back to this sort of like, oh, you know, not knowing any better, like air quotes sort of attitude towards things. And I'm wondering, like, I feel like that's sort of like present in that scene where he loses the mask when it falls off. There's just sort of, he kind of looks like a lost kid.
Yeah.
Just like, my pants fell down in front of the playground.
Yeah.
I got to pull them back up now.
Little embarrasses.
Yeah, like that's kind of how it reads to me. Is like he's just embarrassed by it. Yeah.
What is it's like I'm thinking Bateman and American Psycho. There's that duality of man aspect behind it too, or at least for him, the person behind the person in terms of identity. But c'est la vie.
Was there anything else we want to talk about with Halloween?
No, I think that was a very great discussion. So I was kind of like, after watching it, like, well, I don't know what route we're gonna go. This is like a fun kind of like if I had to describe this as a carnival ride, this is the kind of House of Horrors, right?
Yeah.
It's a little fun, it's a little campy, a little suspense. You don't know if something's gonna pop out. Nothing ever too, threatening.
Yeah.
Right. So
Nothing you can't handle, really.
yeah. So but it's a fun kind of adventure. But like when you watch a movie kind of like that, like when you go through that ride at a carnival, what do you do with your friends when you get out? What do you talk about?
Yeah, all the silly bullshit.
Yeah, for like all of 3 seconds before you're like, let's go on to the next one.
Man, I haven't been through like a fun house or like a thing like that in a long time.
Yeah, I'm with it, but I think that's why I don't do it anymore, because I walk out of those things and I'm like, okay, I can check the box.
Yeah.
Shall
we get into our ratings? I think you go first. Max taking a big swig.
Oh, that's
staying
right.
Hydrated.
Let's see what we got. I'm gonna go. I don't think I'm gonna change this, so I'm gonna see what I wrote down here.
Okay.
No, to me, this is it's a classic. And as much, like I said, like when you gripe, when you talk negatively about films, it doesn't mean you don't like it. Sometimes it's easier to point out the bad than the really good. I think the really good, though, with this is just the character Michael Myers itself. Even 50 years later, like we had a pretty centered discussion around him, and a little bit more in terms of like making it into an elevated horror, which I'm starting to really like these horror movies that have more of a metaphor going on with them, Easy to watch. No, definitely not giving it that.
Readjusting.
Boy, I was wrong. But yeah, I think that it hasn't aged well. We didn't really. I mean, we highlighted the score, but I think that was almost one of the detriments of this, is that score's so good, but it becomes just so lost in the shuffle. When
it's pretty like omnipresent, for better or worse. Like, just always there.
Yeah, it isn't. It isn't, because it's so notable.
Yeah,
like it's very. It sticks out
a little bit. Yeah,
yeah. So
the
like,
Halloween theme sticks out.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard that tune, that jingle, anytime that you see a commercial.
I mean, I'm familiar with it, and I had not seen any of these movies.
That's my
before this.
How much would you have liked to had they done like 20% less of that thing?
Yeah, probably a little bit. I mean, the less a piece of music is used in a movie, I think the more effective it usually is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Not at the risk of being beaten to death or like overplayed. You're not sick of it. It's like, it doesn't become predictable.
It's got to be aided. It aids the film. It aids the suspense. And I feel like this one got to a point where it was turning from aiding the suspense into
putting too much bread on the sandwich.
Yes. So anyways, like I said, I'm going to knock it, but this thing holds up. It's a classic. I did have it at a 9 out of 10, but I knocked it down to an 8. This is a really solid 8 out of 10 for me.
Nice.
Really solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, for me, this is a high 7. Mm-hmm. I think that the good parts about this movie really shine. I think that there's a lot about this that you can really just appreciate from a genre standpoint. The kind of looming presence, this tension that's building. The third act especially, I think, is pretty undeniably great.
Yeah. Especially 50 years later. It still holds up.
Yeah, it still fucking holds up. The environment is just one of my favorite things that's explored, and the way that Carpenter has framed a lot of the shots in this movie are some of my favorite shit of all time. Some of the second act slogginess gets in the way. Some of the performances, to me, don't quite hold up, especially like some of the line deliveries from I think her name was Annie, that character didn't quite convince me well enough. But again, I think what this movie does right is well justified as being like one of those classic all-time horror entries. So yeah, very high 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Could see myself maybe giving it an 8 if I ever decide to throw this on one day and it plays a little bit better, but we'll see how that goes.
It definitely goes down a little smoother when you know the points in it, because I don't know if you do this with movies, especially if you're rewatching, you kind of know when to turn your brain off, and not to say that that's great, but when you're on a kind of an adventure like this with the film, having those 90-minute film, bringing it down to 75.
Yeah, you're kind of meeting the movie at its level.
Yeah, it almost highlights it even more, and you respect or appreciate the better parts even more, because now certain things aren't weighing it down, right?
You've accepted it for what it is and what it's presenting you.
Yeah, so I'd be interested in on a reviewing of it, or maybe not, because I brought mine down.
I mean, hey, shit, Nate's a good score.
It is. I'm not gonna knock it, because like I said, it used to be how I would be 11 or 12 and we'd watch it. That was one of the things you want to get frightened. Let's throw on that and Silver Bullet.
Yeah. Speaking of,
it's yes,
bullets.
Oh my god. I can't believe I just got that excited.
There's a scene in which Keanu Reeves pulls out a gun and shoots it. Caught me off guard quite a bit. Threw me for a bit of a loop.
Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he?
He just pull on just gas
gunpowder, ready to go gun.
Yeah, it's oh wow, okay, I'm watching John Wick for a second.
Yeah,
I'm of course talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes,
Dracula. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the movie score?
Yeah, so here we go. We got Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Not Strokers.
Yeah.
We had this problem last episode.
Yeah, this isn't a Nosferatu, right?
Or is it?
Okay, so here we go. 1992, Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Did he do the adapted screenplay? No, James V. Hart did. Okay.
Yep.
Starring Gary Oldman as the titular Dracula. Winona Ryder as Mina Murney and Elisabetta. Anthony Hopkins as Professor Abraham Van Helsing and some other character, old church guy, that doesn't even get labeled.
Wikipedia says Romanian Orthodox priest.
Yeah.
You think he'd have a name.
Okay.
You think he'd have a name, but he doesn't really.
So Keanu Reeves is Jonathan Harker, also the fiance of Mina Murray.
Best performance? Max shot me a look that I can only describe as daggers.
That was what are you talking about?
That was the animatronic just looking at you for a second, a little too long.
You know the meme with the thing, the little bear that looks over and looks back?
Yeah.
Yeah, if that was that.
That was perfect description.
So Carrie Ells is in this as Lord Arthur Homewood. Billy Campbell as Quincy P. Morris. He plays the Texan. We got Sadie Frost as Lucy Westenra. Tom Waits as Aram Renfield. Monica Bellucci as one of Dracula's brides, and then a whole bunch of other people that are just in this thing. So, Dracula starts out in 1400s.
I think so.
Okay, I was gonna guess 1492 or 1472.
1462.
Wow, I was close.
You're very close.
Fuck, I had my 9s and the 6s mixed up. 6, 7.
God damn it. God.
We're
Jesus.
hip. We're cool.
Oh,
we know what
Mac.
to do.
Mac, no.
We can make Halloween puns.
No.
So we have and he's not Dracula at this time. He's Lord von Hammersmith, whatever his name is, and that's
I think it's supposed to be Vlad the Impaler.
It is, but that's not his. I don't think that's his name, and they don't describe it as Vlad or Vlad, right?
I didn't think so, but Wikipedia is telling me Count Dracula / Vlad the Impaler. But I mean,
maybe they. Well, I don't know if that's kind of his moniker.
They call him Vlad Dracula.
Oh, really?
So it's
okay. Because the House of Dracula.
Dracula.
Yeah, no, only his friends call him Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
You know, like you'd have to be kind of tight with him.
Only his buddies.
Yeah, you know,
they ride with him in the carriage on the way to the cinematograph.
His entourage, right? Mm-hmm. So the movie starts out with kind of the backstory with Anthony Hopkins, the old Romanian priest, or Van Helsing. We're not sure who the narrator is. It's just him. Going through this piece of time and what's going on, and how Vlad had his Elizabeth, his lover, right? And he's got to go off to war because, you know, they're conquering territories and they're taking over Transylvania. And, you know, one of the enemies, or the sworn enemies of Vlad, comes back and they shoot arrows into the castle with a note that says, "We killed your fucking husband." And Elizabeth can't take it, and she jumps out into the river for Vlad to come back and ask what happened with the note still on the ground, because God knows how long it passed. Hopefully it was weeks and not hours, because that would be even worse. Only to have the dead body up in the castle, retrieved from the river, which she jumped 12 stories from, so I don't know how her body looked like that. And then he curses out the priest, and he curses out God, and he says, "Why do I do what I do?"
That's the beauty of Winona Ryder, by the way. Like, no matter what, she's just going to look gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do anything to her.
Yeah.
Who cares? She could have fell like 20 stories off the Eiffel Tower.
Physically, she is dead.
Yes.
But her body,
yeah.
The only thing wrong is the little trickle of blood coming out of the mouth.
Speaking of supernatural forces, right? How'd they keep her like that? So he cusses out the priest, and he takes out his sword, and he says, "I'm going to impale you little shits," and he starts swinging it around, and then he curses God, and he stabs the cross in the middle, presumably a heart. I'm not sure, but it bled, and blood comes from the candles, and blood spurts out, and the priests get out of there, and then they said, "You'll be condemned for eternity," and that's how we have Dracula.
He's kind of a moody bitch. Kinda.
Yeah, you know, you speak a lack of empathy here.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, impaling people, chopping off heads. Like, they had a silhouette of, like, one guy sliding down a staff.
That was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
That was I was kind of into that.
I liked it. Like, here, this is what I'm saying. I liked it. The whole love finds a way angle doesn't work for me at that point.
Oh, why? Because he's a mass genocidal murderer?
Like, and he only cares about one thing, so he does all the killing for his bride, maybe. Like, and you know, and so we stab the cross, and then we have him and then we get Jonathan Harker in Somewhere in the World. We already had this discussion.
It's 4 centuries later.
And it's 4 centuries later, you know, and it's smash cut into him like, hey, like, we got a real estate business, and it's Keanu, and he's like, all right, I'll take it on. And, you know, he goes there and he sees he meets the Count, and we get to see wolves running, and we're in the woods, and it's creepy and foggy, and then we're there. And then it just story unfolds with Dracula trying to find his long lost love, who's now reincarnated into Mina Murray.
Dracula. Bram Stoker. Not Stroker. That is inappropriate.
So, I had fun with this movie.
I had a lot of fun with this movie.
I had, you know, it's so
I had quite a bit.
We talk, you know, we do the like, you're very you like irony, right? So the movies that are like ironic and like, you know, all that stuff, you could watch like The Room, for example, right? Like, you get behind that.
Yeah,
it's one of your top 5 movies of all time. You know,
I mean, I would say Fateful Findings is more in that category, but my enjoyment of that is totally not ironic. It is wholeheartedly authentic.
Okay, so my I don't take joy in that and those types of things. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I did with this one. For some reason, I did. And
it's interesting because, like, the way you're describing it, you know, I completely agree with you in that, like, I'm able to have a lot of fun, ironic fun, with movies that I find, like, you know, just overstuffed, or like there's too much going on, ridiculous. There's like over the top bullshit. I like this movie in an unironic way. There's a lot about this film that I think I respect in a way that it just kind of like goes for it. And I think that the maximalist approach that Francis Ford Coppola is taking with this specific genre and this kind of storyline, for me, works because he's taking whether it works for you or not is a very subjective thing. I will completely acknowledge
listen, you
that.
just go on your path. Like, we got our own enjoyment side of this thing. I don't have to say I enjoyed it because I thought it was good.
Right. That's totally fair. I think that when it comes to this genre, him making that kind of same approach that he did for Megalopolis, where that movie failed spectacularly, where it felt like it felt like it had like a lack of like specific identity and like didn't really like pinpoint what it wanted to do, like just totally like wanted it to be deeper, but it ended up being like confused and messy and just like all this shit.
Way too much going into it.
Way too much. You take that kind of same approach and you apply it to this, where it's this like generational spanning spiritual love story that is, within the framework of this like old Dracula tale. I don't know, it kind of works for me, like the way it's like using these very maximalist transitions and this sort of like kind of gothic over the top like blood spurting style. I think for me makes this movie quite fun. It makes it entertaining. In a way in which like there are some times in which like, yes, I found like a little bit of ironic enjoyment of this. Most of what I liked about this movie is just like, I don't know, there's like a charm to it. I feel like there's like this earnestness to it that it just kind of wears on its sleeve. And I kind of commend it for that. Cool. And I'm not going to say that this is a great movie.
No one's attacking your opinion.
And I appreciate that. But I don't know. There's a lot that I like about this in a very kind of just straightforward, like, yeah, I had fun. I acknowledge that a lot of this is just kind of stupid.
You know what this is?
It is. I don't know. There's things about this that I think on a creative level I have a lot of respect for.
This is what I had envisioned of Speed 2. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Is I'd come in and hit it with all the hard notes on like where I saw it for where it was good and all this stuff, and then you'd come in and be like, yeah, it wasn't what I thought it was, but like I like this and I like that. So I think the best way that this conversation will go is I will probably just bring up scenes from just a very surface level.
Yeah.
Taking it for what it's on the screen and just play it out how I saw it.
For sure.
That is the most fun that I have with this thing. And I'm not no, I kind of, I mean,
you can say you're knocking it. That's fine.
I don't know if I want to say,
let me ask you this.
It's way too much fat.
I mean, yeah, it's a very desserty movie to me.
Oh God, yes.
This is like a plate of cakes and cupcakes and just pie and like frosting everywhere. And I think that
hedonism,
it movies kind of, it's very self-indulgent.
Yes,
I think is like maybe the perfect word for it is a very self-indulgent movie in which Francis Ford Coppola was just like kind of throwing what he could at this specific style, right? Where it's like, I want to go for this like Shakespearean love story in the framework of Dracula, where it's like, blood and tragedy and like all this stuff. And I don't know, I think that there's like a little bit more of a focus there than you would initially think, because to me there is a central narrative with the character of Dracula, with Gary Oldman's portrayal of Dracula, where for all intents and purposes he's the main character, he's the one that we're following. You could argue Winona Ryder's like the main person that we're supposed to like attach ourselves to, but seeing his progression in this movie, for as like kind of mixed up and like as sort of like all over the place as things get, I feel like his is pretty consistent, where it's like and Francis Ford Coppola is lucky that he's like working with this framework of a story that's already familiar with a bunch of people, right? But you've got this guy who finds out his wife killed herself when she didn't need to. There's a tragedy to that. He renounces God. He makes a pact with the devil, becomes this vampire lord, immortal, hateful bastard, and then carries that centuries, finally finds someone who bears the same spirit, the same soul, whatever you want to call it, as his
looked the same.
love.
Like that's
Looked exactly the
women,
same.
So yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, there is this.
We're still going to hit on the romanticism.
There is this connection in the movie that it establishes that I think is pretty consistent. I think that his approach to that is, interesting, at least to me. And the way it progresses is like, I'm fascinated with this character's journey of like, having this bitterness from more immortality. Like this idea that like him being immortal is a curse and that he's forever like going to live this life of like
showed it well. He showed it well.
Hedonism and like debauchery and like violence and all this stuff that like, this guy is just kind of like, broken beyond repair. And then this thing is introduced that like, it could maybe bring him back into like some form of human emotion.
So he changes his actions and the way he views life, and he goes through, and there's some whimsical moments where he's like, all right, I remember what love is, or does he maybe try to rape someone?
I mean, he goes about it in a very nefarious and, seedy. And, he is a villainous character at the end of it all.
Right.
But I'm not saying this at all to like, sympathize with him or anything. That's not.
No, you're
that's
making
not what I'm
the
trying
point
to do.
of trying. I know.
I'm just making the case for an interesting
story.
character arc.
Right. And I don't know how much. All right.
Go for it, man.
I don't think
Tear me open.
Oh, I'm not gonna
bite my neck.
I told you, I'm not gonna hammer this thing with what I mean. The way I saw it is, you got the movie freaking opens up and he's impaling people. He then has a problem that his loved one, after he's killed everyone else's loved one, is gone, and he denounces God. One, where's your religion at with you slaughtering half of humanity?
It is pretty funny that he is basically like, I am a warrior for God, and then like as soon as something happens that is like,
the very first sign
a challenge
of trouble.
that the challenge that he has to overcome, he's like, fuck you, and he like stabs the cross.
Oh my God,
I hate you, God. That flip is pretty funny.
So that was hilarious to me. Not only that, all right, and hold on, let me set this up too.
Go for it.
My brother recommended this thing. He said he watched the first 15-20 minutes. I don't know what happened, but I do remember the talking points were all-time cast, all-time director, classic novella, right? And like practical effects. Like that was his kind of like boom, 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 boom. Like you have to see this thing. And I was like, I'm in, I'm sold. I want to watch it. All right. So we get into here. Like I said, I'm going to kind of just do like the average Joe type thing as we discuss this. Cause I to hop in and out, I have no idea. Oldman, like we saw the character in two different ways. I never saw him change. It just felt like Dracula was trying to have sex with Winona Ryder.
I think to me, he was trying to change in a way that was familiar to him, which like decades and centuries of bloodlust is like kind of hard to like pivot in a different direction,
I mean, I get it, and that's what I'm saying. Like when we talk, like I get the Shakespearean element a little bit. Like there are things where I'm like, I get behind that a little bit. Oh my God, I'm sitting here. And he told me Anthony Hopkins was in it, and he pops up as that priest, and I was like, this is it? I was like, what's he doing in here? Like, this is what, so I was like, oh, he said he only watched 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. This is all he saw of Hopkins. He's gone, right?
Yeah.
And then you got Oldman, who in my opinion of watching this thing, was overacting the whole time.
Ooh. I disagree. I think he's putting a lot of putting a lot on the sandwich, right? But I like it.
Yeah.
I think that it's appropriate for this movie, which inherently is just over the top.
Jim Carrey overacts in all his films, right? Mm-hmm. I love Jim Carrey. I like overacting. I'm just calling it like it is. He overacted in this thing.
I think this movie is calling for him to overact.
Yeah, he looked at it and was like, you're going to have me in 7 different outfits and prosthetics? Like, sure. Like, I will give you that performance.
I read that was kind of his idea. That Gary Oldman was like, hey, put me in like all these different versions of like what a vampire is.
Wouldn't be shot. Coppola's like, I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
And guess what? I was looking at the screen going, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
He's everywhere. He's in that weird ass outfit he's in. And by the way, I don't know if he's talking Latin, Turkey, or fucking English when he's denouncing God. I didn't have the closed captions on.
You talking about the one where he looks like a giant cockroach? He's got like the
it's all red. It's all red, and it's like this like weird plastic like swivels in it. It's like a really bad like carpet design.
I kind of liked it. I thought it was a little rad.
That's what I'm saying. So we are both getting enjoyment out of this in like way like different fashions, right? But like as I described earlier, you watch all this. The chick dies. She comes back. She's laying out there. So like I was just sitting there like, why did they go into the river and dig out her body and then drag it back up that castle? Like they have to take that's
there's no elevator.
20 pounds going up 10 stories that they didn't have to bring back down to bury her, right? Yeah. So, and then he stabs it and I still don't know what that fucking cross was. Like magical cross. Because like it, blood starts spurting out, and I think it's more of a metaphor of maybe like the denouncing God and the blood of Christ, instead of washing over you, it's pouring out now, right? And then the weird part was he yells out something in Latin about blood and grabs a goblet and starts drinking the blood, and I wasn't really sure. Once again, too, I'm just going off of just watching this thing and just seeing it visually. Yeah. Just starts drinking the blood, and there you go. I mean, and Anthony Hopkins kind of said,
he becomes a vampire.
Yeah, you fucked yourself. You're going to live forever now, douchebag, right? Way to go, right? And there we go. And then we go to the Harker, and we kind of talked about it, and we don't have to get into semantics. This is just me. I missed it's Keanu Reeves, which I was excited to watch.
I mean, I'm always excited to watch my boy,
and I knew it was going to be speed Keanu, right? He doesn't that range isn't there, right, or wasn't there, I should say, and you know what you're going to kind of get, but having missed the location, you could have shown me a world map, and there were 2 countries I could say that he wasn't on.
Yeah, and this is something that we were talking about before we recorded, but I think it's important to bring up even still, is that there are 2 prominent Englishmen in this movie who are acting in major roles, and neither of them are doing their typical English accents.
Right.
Gary Oldman is doing his vampiric Transylvanian, whatever you want to call it, thing that he's doing. And then Anthony Hopkins, I don't remember what he was doing at the beginning when he's like the priest guy, but that doesn't really matter. As Van Helsing, he's doing a German accent.
Yeah.
In and out, depending on how he's feeling that day.
I was about to say, depending on when they grabbed him out of a wardrobe.
Right. Depending on who he's acting against.
And
it's me and Oldman? All right, I can put the sauce on. It's me and Keanu? I can just kind of lay back.
Yeah, we're good. They're good. He sucks with his shit anyways. Yeah, and also, by the way, Anthony Hopkins is narrating this thing, so you don't know, is it Priest Hopkins? Is it Van Helsing Hopkins? Is it just Anthony Hopkins?
I think it's just Anthony Hopkins, because I don't think he's doing the German accent the narrator.
He's not. He absolutely. When he popped in there, I was like, that's going to be a guy that pops up way later on, and he's going to be old and decrepit and give some advice, and it's going to be through his eyes.
He like closes the book, and he's like, well, that's all the tale told.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, and then all of a sudden, so it's just, hey guys, we're 21 minutes into this thing, all right, and you got Keanu on there, who's, I can go to the count's house, I'll sell it for sure. Winona Ryder and Lucy Westenra, who are both, they are doing some kind of English dialect, kind of like we talked Muddied Waters.
Yeah.
They introduced a Texan who came to London.
And if you didn't know that he was from Texas.
Boy, I don't know how do you hit it?
Well, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm from Texas.
Oh, ma'am, I'm here.
He has a line. It made me crack up, and I know we're kind of jumping all over the place right now.
We're allowed to with this thing. It's fun as hell.
He has a line later on where he's like, "Damn, it's crazier than a barn full of cattle in here," and it's like, wow, if you didn't know this guy was from Texas, I don't know how the dialogue would be able to tell you.
Well, just got to be careful. He might draw up his shirt and put, I'm from Texas over his heart tattoo.
He's got like a Lone Star fucking medal on his vest or whatever.
Yeah, so so that's where some of the confusion it was at for me, because I did not hear that it was, because they only say it once, and
yes,
rightfully so.
A lot of different accent work that you have like no real sense of geography unless they actually say where they are, which I'm pretty sure they do.
I'm with you. I'm not, like I said, I'm not discrediting it, because I was doing some work stuff last night, and so like I would miss lines of dialogue here and there, right? I'm invested in this thing, but I think after the first 20 minutes, I was seeing it, I was like, okay, this feels like something I'll be able to follow right here and be able to grab onto certain points. So that happened, and also there was the Kama Sutra sighting at the beginning of this thing.
Ooh, naughty.
Right? And there, Lucy's talking about how she did it with some guy in this position before, and there's a little bit of kind of the
in her dreams.
Yeah,
in her dreams.
That's right.
That's very important.
The TT aspect of it, which I was like, I don't know how deep into this sexual overdrive we're gonna get, but this feels like first 25 minutes having the Kama Sutra pop up with some images.
We're getting there.
Yeah. So
this movie is horny,
dude.
Horny ass movie.
Yeah, like Coppola was on one, man. Like he just said, you know what, we're gonna kind of make this like some weird vampire sex orgy movie where it's just tits. And Oldman is going to be falling in love, and we're gonna really feel for him because he's gone throughout eternity searching for his lost love, and he's finally found her. But in the meantime, with all of that going on, we're just going to have a lot of violence and like feels like sexual repression, some bestiality thrown in the mix.
Can I make a case?
Yes.
Can I make a case?
Yeah.
In defense of that element, vampirism in its origin is just inherently a very sexual kind of concept. You're literally taking your mouth and like chomping down on somebody's neck.
Yes.
And they're reacting in a way that's like, a bit of a recoil, like,
Oh,
there's,
yeah, hey,
there's
Lucy,
this like,
let you know.
There's this idea of like a sexual release.
Yeah.
And someone having power over someone else, dedicating your life, devoting your life to someone, this idea of like immortality. I mean, obviously like Twilight takes that concept and like, young adults it to death or whatever. But you have this thing of like this historic kind of mythological creature that has always just inherently been this way. Whether or not like people want to acknowledge it is a different thing.
Yeah.
But I think Francis Ford Coppola is like, whether you want to say he's like kind of a pervy old dude or if he's like actually coming at this with some artistic intent, I do think that it matches the sort of genre and like the whole mythos of vampires pretty well.
This
whether or not like some of it may be gratuitous, I mean that's for I think people to judge when they watch the movies themselves.
No one will say this is gratuitous.
I think it's doing what it's like Gary Oldman's performance. It's doing what the movie wants, and I think it's appropriate for how over the top it is. It is just fascinating in just like a logistical sense of like framing these scenes and having these transitions and like it going that like very maximalist way of just like we're gonna throw it all at you, but there is like some kind of artistic through line going on. This movie has like some pretty great transitions, I will say.
I had a hard time. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, the editing to me, this thing was so clunky. There's weird. They just had weird parts where they would just we're gonna hit a cut frame over here and then we're gonna cut back here and it's gonna be two different. It's not even interstitials. It's just we're going here to here.
I think it's a little inconsistent, but I think when this movie's working at its best, like it is just like fully kind of embracing the kind of like cascadeness of it all. Like we're just kind of ba-boom, ba-boom going from one thing to the other, and you're still getting like the narrative sense of what's happening.
A little bit, yeah.
When I looked into like some of the production of this movie, I read that they did like over 1,000 storyboard images.
Oh, I can believe it.
And like implemented that into the film, and you can absolutely see it with the way like some of these scenes like go from one to the other. And like
this felt like a very goofy, like kind of nerdy. I'm gonna take my crack at like. I keep saying hedonism, but I put it in like it's not maybe sexual oppression or repression, right? But there's some element of these it's
like a liberation.
Yeah. That's a elegant way of saying that because dude, there's just so many and so I am kind of I'm getting what you're laying down, but it just was way too goofy for me to have like this between this and Eggers' version of this.
Eggers takes a very kind of like dark, mature look at this.
Very, very mature. And those undertones are undertones, like,
because there's not much about and I mean, we're gonna make a little bit of comparisons between this and Nosferatu, because like that's our main basis of comparison.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of the shit's the same.
Right, Nosferatu being like based on Dracula, that thing has always been the case.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would never say that like Nosferatu is like fun. Right? There's not like a ton of fun you can have with Nosferatu.
Agreed.
You watch it for like the mood and the atmosphere and like the seeing the story played out in a very like kind of mature and effective, heavy way.
Yes.
Would never describe that with this movie.
No.
Like you're two totally different things.
That's what I'm saying. Goofy, right? That's why we say fun with it.
Yeah, and I think I'm kind of attributing more of like my enjoyment to like sort of the abrasiveness of it.
You're giving it credit. I mean,
I am giving it credit. I am undeniably giving it credit for doing the thing that I think kind of took you out of it. It sounds like
it didn't take me it didn't take me out. I guess the way I view this thing is like this would be Infinity Pool if they went like campy and PG-13. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just we're gonna kind of hit it around the edges. And once again, like yeah, Gary Oldman, like you like the overacting in it, and the role calls for it. You know, to me, it's still like unless I'd have to switch off that piece of my brain, saying like I'm not gonna think of other Oldman. I'm just gonna take it for what it is right now.
Yeah.
This thing just felt like it felt very goofy, and it felt like everyone realized they were kind of in a goofy film, and all played into the goofiness of it.
And
right?
I mean, I don't. In conjunction with what you're saying, I don't think. What doesn't help this movie at all is it's very inconsistent.
Very inconsistent.
Very inconsistent. So one of the most inconsistent things about this is like the varying degrees of performance, right? Can we dive deep into that real quick?
Oh,
right?
Mina, I need to get back to you. I love you so much. Oh.
So we haven't acknowledged the John Wick in the room, which is Keanu Reeves playing Jonathan Harker, one of the many Jonathans he's played in movies, Johns or Jonathans or variations thereof.
Yep.
This is a cast that includes Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins, Carrie Ells, and a bunch of other talented people who fit within the mold of what this movie's going for, more or less, right? Mm-hmm. Keanu Reeves, I love him. He's one of my favorites. He's my sweet boy. My sovereign grace. Someone should have stopped him.
Oh, God.
Someone should have stopped him from being in this movie.
Keanu, you're out of your element.
I think Francis Ford Coppola's maybe one of his biggest gaffes. Maybe one of the worst things he's ever done. And I'm saying
Megalopolis is one of the worst things he's ever done.
I'm saying that very hyperbolically, but one of the responsibilities that he had that he just did not enforce was the responsibility to stop Keanu from being in this and giving that performance. I say this with the idea that maybe if he didn't do this movie, who knows what the timeline of his career would have been. Maybe he wouldn't have done The Matrix. Maybe he wouldn't have done John Wick.
Yeah.
You know, all this stuff that comes out after that, like is, you know, classic Keanu stuff that we know and love.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
I wish we
that
could do
being said, we can fully acknowledge that this performance is bad.
Oh, it's
very
terrible.
Bad. It just does not work within the frame of this movie. Doesn't work as an acting performance in general.
Did you ever think he was in love with Winona Ryder?
No.
Did it ever make sense for him to be like, I need to escape to get back to her?
No. It's
them making mouth guppies at the altar. I was like, that is so inappropriate. For
more than anything else happening in this movie.
I think that was when I think that's when I flipped it, and I was like, oh, this is just goofy, silly kind of, you know, vampire movie. Because not even really. I mean, you call it a love. I'm not even with the love story aspect. I'm just like, it's just people figuring out different ways to have sex, and you know, vampires unlocking that.
Sure. I see a little bit more maybe, but
you do, and hey, you should though. All right, you're the writer in the room, and you get behind these motives.
It's one thing to. I mean, I fully acknowledge that this movie has just like a basis of silliness that is just like fully front loading, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it comes to like the performances or editing or like whatever other element you want to talk about, there is a difference in that Keanu's performance is not even like matching the silliness to that degree. Like, he's not even like kind of playing along with what Hopkins is doing, with what Winona Ryder's doing, especially not with what Gary Oldman's doing. He is so uncomfortable in this film.
Yeah.
And I read that a lot of the issue was, according to Francis Ford Coppola anyway, is that Keanu got way too into his head about the accent, and he would become just like really wooden and stiff. And if you watch him in this movie, he's like kind of bobbing around like he's a puppet boy, like he's got a stick up his ass.
Yeah.
And that's because he's like trying way too hard to be like the haughty kind of like, dare I say, like British type, when if he had maybe just like chilled out a little bit more, like kind of laid back and like eased into it, maybe there could have been something that wasn't as terrible. Still wouldn't have been great, right? Still probably wouldn't have even been
not
good.
Getting that out of him at that time. He was like what, fresh off of a river runs through it, or what was the?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Very young Keanu. Like,
Yeah.
and it was Bill and Ted's was around that time
Very,
too. So.
yeah, very like boyish, like, and they gave him like a terrible
I can't believe
haircut.
He's in this movie. Terrible haircut. He comes back home and he's grayed out.
I want to ask you this because Megan and I were talking about this yesterday as we were watching the movie. What other actor would have fit this role 1,000 times better? And I have a specific one in mind.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
At this time in 1992?
At this specific time, 1992.
Brad Pitt.
I see. I don't think Brad Pitt. I think he would have been like a little too kind of like slick. Like, I don't know. I think he would have had like a little bit too much confidence in that. I'm going to throw a name out to you, and I want to hear your reaction.
Okay.
Johnny Depp.
Nah, I got to say he's...
Because let me make my case.
well, you can't just say you get to react and then say make your case.
Sorry.
I'm in the same... It's almost the same boat with Pitt. All right, I'm switching my answer to Eddie Furlong. But yes, go ahead.
Eddie Furlong.
Yeah.
The reason I say Johnny Depp is because him and Winona Ryder were actually in a relationship at the time of this movie was being made. So you get like a potential for like real on-screen chemistry, and you have a performance in which like, yeah, this guy is used to doing like period pieces. Like, obviously he can throw on a British accent whenever he wants without effort, and it would just work 1,000 times better. The accent work alone would work way better. I don't know. That's just my thought. Anyway, he was like the only name that came up that I was like,
he's also
he could
in
work.
all of the what's his nuts?
Tim Burton?
Yeah. So I mean, he's got more of a goth element around him. I still think he would have like you need to have. I don't know Jonathan Harker if he's simp boy or if he's like finding my love.
See, maybe Johnny Depp could have like played the sadness of it a little bit more. Like, oh, I'm getting cucked by a literal immoral vampire
that's
lord.
What I'm saying. Like, I don't know what we were supposed to feel with his character and all this because, like, in the other one, all right, like there's a definite like feeling of, I need to get back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
in Nosferatu, you sympathize a lot more with Nicholas Holt's character.
And the connection that they have, while it is like kind of stilted in that thing, like it's like, all right, I can go with that because it's of the time.
And there's no attempt at making Bill Skarsgård's portrayal of Count Orlok to be like human or emotional, or like he's straight up just a monster in that movie.
Yes, yeah. There isn't that.
There's no like romanticism there. It's almost like he's a parasite, like trying to get at her.
Yes, but I think he does that. Like that's how he always finds his prey in that movie, right? Whereas in this one, there's like I don't even know what you call it. He saw a reincarnated Isabelta or whatever the hell her name is. It was like I need to get with her again,
Isabetta.
But yeah, I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like if you kind of and that was one of the problems that I had with this thing. It's like just that relationship alone.
And I think I mean maybe this is like, I don't know, a conscious effort or something that just sort of happened in my viewing experience of this movie. But I found myself recognizing the connection that Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder had more so than her and Keanu. I mean, I think that's like at least a little bit purposeful, right?
But that was done intentionally, and
Yeah.
there's kind of those, with the shadow getting over to her, and kind of the whispers of the night, and then what really ruined it for me is when they get to the museum, and one, he's being suave old man. I was like, dude, just walk up and talk to her, right? She turns him down. He's like, fuck that, going back for seconds. Turns him down again, hits it with the third time, and she goes, do I know you, sir? And then he, do you need to get called? Should you go to a museum? And then he's like, well, why don't we go together? And then she kind of is like, man, this guy's persistent. Okay. And then he tries to rape her. And I was like, okay, like that's gone now. Anything that happens after this, like I'm going to have a hard time believing, like it's just, and then I really don't know. Cause then they get married and that wasn't believable. Like
her and Jonathan Parker. Yeah.
They kind of get back and then it breaks Oldman's heart. And he's like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm still going to get with her. Right.
Yeah.
And then they're married. And I'm like, I think that was a marriage scene, but I don't know if it was a dream sequence. One, because they're almost having sex on the altar.
The thing comparison point being made again.
Yeah.
The thing I really enjoy about Nosferatu, out of the many things, is that they do make an effort to make it feel like an actual relationship.
Yes.
There's like a little bit of a moment in the beginning where like she's in bed and they interact and like it's kind of like a sweet moment. And it's like, seeing the sort of behind closed doors, like quieter moments of this relationship play out. And you don't really get that in this movie at all.
Yes.
It's just like, I'm married to her and she's married to me and we're husband and wife. And that's like pretty much it. Because otherwise they're just like basically dealing with shit the entire movie.
Yes. But yes. Yeah. So. Oh yeah, I had a hard time with all of the relationships in this thing, which is why, like, another reason why I just felt so damn goofy to me. Because
what did you think of? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, because there's plenty on this thing.
There's a lot on the plate of this film. What did you think of Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing?
I didn't mind.
I think he was my favorite character.
It's funny. So I naturally started comparing him to Defoe. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? I actually like both of these performances, just in different ways.
Yeah, they're giving different flavors of like the same sort of archetype, like kind of slightly kooky doctor who is like a little too enthusiastic about things.
Defoe is so eccentric, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas Hopkins is like, aha, I got you.
Yeah.
I knew ahead
There's like
of time.
a little bit of a shysterness to him that I appreciate.
A little smarter than your average Joe, right? And so he always has kind of got the one up on you, and
he's like more obviously comedic. Like when he comes up to the guy during Lucy's funeral and is like, "Hey, kind of need to do an autopsy."
Yeah.
Also, I'm hungry. Can you give me some food? Like he's kind of like a little shithead.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I love it because he has this like undying hatred for Dracula that he just like cannot quell. He doesn't even make an effort to.
It's the weirdest, like, where Defoe and all that stuff was like, it all felt like self-discovery and like theoretical, starting to get into application, and I always right. And
he
like,
felt more of like a scientist.
Yeah. Where Hopkins this thing is like, yes, he is real. I know how to stop him. Like it was like another challenge, essentially. You know, like that's just that burning hatred. Like what? And
he like comes out of an ice bath with like clenched fists and is like ready to duke it out with anybody.
And he's got the aha stuff going on. I don't know. That's why it just he felt so. Dude, all these fucking people felt goofy to me, man. But I enjoyed him though. Like it was a fun little throw because. There was another scene where he's talking to maybe a little kid or someone that was like, oh my God, like how did Lucy die? He's like, I stabbed her in the heart with a stake and she bled. And they're like, all right, Van Helsing, and that's enough.
I cut her head off.
Yeah. He's just like, and so he's delivering this. And I remember like this is like, I'm like looking up, I'm like, is he joking? Is this like dark humor? Is this like, hey, I don't know how to connect with people? What angle are we taking here with this? Like,
I think that it's more so the latter of just like I'm not able to connect on a personal level with anybody, but I am so useful in how I go about what I do that like I can't help but have to interact with people all the time. So like when I am just being myself, people are just like, what the hell is going on with you?
Yeah, all right, so you got that. Put it in a dark humor element where he's taken so much joy with killing a vampire for the first time, and he knows that it's making that person uncomfortable, that he's kind of like, hey, I know you're not going to like hearing this, so I'm going to tell it to you and see you kind of, writhe when you hear it, right? Like it's very shystery.
Very shystery, but I loved every second of it. One of my favorite scenes, and this isn't even when he's being a shyster, but it's towards the end of the movie when like it's just kind of him and Winona Ryder at the castle, just kind of waiting for Dracula to show back up. And she's like, kind of succumbing to the concubines, like the brides of Dracula when they're laying siege on them or whatever.
Yep.
And like she tries to tempt him and like he kind of kisses her, but then he's like, no, what the hell am I doing? He like immediately makes a fire circle around her, stamps her forehead with like a,
oh, that's how she, okay.
The body of Christ or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like a G, he just goes into the castle, kills all of them and cuts their heads off.
Yeah.
Tosses them off the side of the fucking building.
I was like that. So there was a little confusion on like the lead up to that, right? Because it was like, Gary Oldman steals her, and she kind of fell back in love with him, and they get on the schooner, and Keanu's like, "Oh, we are gonna hop on a boat too, and we'll go up there and get him.
I know where the bastard sleeps."
Yeah, and then they're like on horse-drawn carriage, and they're fighting vampires, and then it's like Hopkins got in there and was killing.
That sequence was sort of when it kind of lost me a little bit.
Oh yeah, big time.
Because mostly just because like, okay, well we've had like pretty, you'll say messy, I'll say like stylistically consistent editing with the way that the movie flows and like the pacing of it.
Not even the editing, just consistency alone with how we're dealing with action. Right? There's only a couple bouts here and there and then this thing went into like Ben-Hur.
This thing goes into like kind of action movie overdrive that I don't think. At least at that time, Francis Ford Coppola was quite apt at trying to make. Like, it feels like he's doing something that fucking Paul Greengrass should have directed. Like, this action chase scene with, like, these horse carriages and, like, people shooting guns.
Yeah. We got the Texan
guys on horseback, yeah.
That was another...
It's quite messy in a way that, like, took me out. Like that was the point in which
you're
like
in this thing,
and I was fully in. I was like maybe not fully into it, but I was enjoying it. I was like, I'm ready to kind of meet this movie at this level, and then it at a certain point got to be too much.
Yeah. I was good with all the goofiness leading up to it, and then when we got to there, I was like, I can't tell if he's directing this thing seriously or if this is like we need asses in seats moment. Like I had such a hard time once we got there, and then. Oh, I had such a hard time with Keanu's character, and then we get there, and they're married, but they're not married, and she's in love, and
did you like his hair?
No.
His gray ass hair?
I didn't get it. I don't know if they explained it. Another one of those things, it's like, I either missed dialogue.
I think the idea is that, like, Dracula is stealing youth from him, and that it's making him older.
Another theme of part of this, like, whole mythos of what Dracula does, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I get behind that. I can understand that because he definitely looked aged. Just not, and he did mention something within the vampire sex orgy about that happening, which we'll get to. Yeah. So, but you get to this point, and we're at the end, and he's gone here to get his wife back, the love of his life, and they slit Dracula stuff. That's not enough to take the guy out, right? The vampire. And he runs inside to the castle. And Winona Ryder flings around and she's got one of those rifles, right? If I remember this correctly, and she's pointing it and she's going to fucking pull the trigger. And the Texan's got the knife in his hand ready to bout. And Keanu looks, he says, "Stop. This is her war now." And they all just turn their back and she must go and confront.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm like, okay, where are we? Are you married to her?
I mean,
did you cross seas to go get this loved one? and you've now recognized maybe because of how much you love her that she must deal with the unrest of the love of someone else? Or
I mean, I think you pretty much kind of nailed it there. I think is that he recognizes that like there's this sense of
this eternal connection
that he can never really know, and that he has to he kind of has to put his faith in her that she'll do the right thing at the end of it all.
They've done a really good job developing that relationship up to that point.
And that when it comes time, she'll make the right choice of I'm just going to let this guy die. I'm going to free him of this curse of immortality.
Yeah.
And
very poetic.
That'll be it. We can never fully be together ever.
Yeah.
And we are, even though our destinies are aligned in a way that this is the ultimate curse. We're so close, but yet so far away.
Yes, I have to do it. I have to put you out of your misery and be with that guy.
Be also with gray-haired Keanu.
Yeah, I've totally forgiven you for trying to rape me. Take that scene out. I could get a little bit more behind that relationship.
You want to talk about the Keanu concubine scene?
Is this a vampire sex orgy?
Yeah.
We got to put an explicit rating on this one because this is
put the E on Spotify.
I am telling you right now because this movie's rife with just. I wasn't expecting that much nudity in it.
So the context is that Harker is sort of lured into this kind of dreamlike state where he lays in this bed, and then all of a sudden these very seductive women start popping up. There's 3 of them. One of them being Monica Bellucci, who is back in that time pretty notable.
She's a good-looking gal.
Good looking.
Yeah.
Good looking.
Yeah.
And it's very slow, sensual, explicit, a lot of groping.
A lot of skin, a lot of nipples.
Quite a bit. At least 6 of them.
And and Keanu just he's not sure what to do. I mean, he's getting overtaken with the sensation, but also he knows he's got Mina left. Mina. And that's a good 3-minute scene, I think. There's almost chicks kind of servicing each other. There's a lot of kissing, a lot of groping, a lot of this is where that hedonism kind of came in. This is why I keep dropping orgy on there. And then Dracula pops up, right? Mm-hmm. And hey, foul temptress, just get off of him.
He's mine.
Yeah, which is kind of weird too. After seeing all that,
right?
And, he pops up, and
it is Keanu. I would want a piece of him.
Yeah, and
I'm not exactly going to turn that down.
Yeah, right. And Olden's yeah, he's mine, and and then they come back, and he gets the ladies off of him, and you think they're gone, but they're not.
Yeah,
they have to feed.
And so, how long is he there for? He's there for a month, and he's getting sucked off by these.
Oh, dude! So there's another scene, right? So I mean that happens, right? And then we kind of get away. That's when we get the best. This is I kind of want to make this my background. This is when I went this movie's fucking over the top, silly, goofy. Kind of enjoying it. If I can keep up with the energy here. That image of Gary Oldman laughing.
Yeah. Where he kind of looks like an old lesbian.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like your grandma's friend,
Yeah.
Came over
your grandma's roommate.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the reason why I was all right, this is when I flipped the switch because we have this very, very you said, sensual, it's all of the pleasure in the world right here, and Keanu's fighting like hell to not give in, and then Dracula comes, and it's very much I've got you in the honey pot, right, in your mind, and then guess what? They have to feed, and what are they going to feed on? They're going to feed on an infant. And then it's just Keanu wailing the imagery that he's just taking in. He can't bear it. It's too much. And then you got Oldman.
It's great stuff.
Oh my God. And I was like, You know, I'm into it. I'm
Yeah,
back. I'm
yeah.
back. Like, let's go.
That's fucking. That's Francis Ford Coppola loading the chamber and firing the barrel straight at the camera at you.
Oh yeah,
Like, you like this fucker?
You can't handle this. If you can handle that orgy, you're not gonna be able to handle lesbian Oldman sitting here just laughing his ass off for the atrocities that have just been committed within a matter of minutes.
And I think it works, baby. I think it works. I think this movie's fun.
So I think what I got sold on, so I got.
What does Sam ultimately think about this movie?
I'm going to talk to him. I haven't talked to him. I just watched it last night.
Okay.
I literally just watched this last night. I got done watching this thing and I was like, I don't know what I just watched. I really don't. It went from Holy War to damnation, to love, like infidelity, to just a bunch of naked chicks, to Keanu's got to jump from a castle, to I stole your girl, to I'm stealing my girl back in a schooner, horse-drawn carriage race, to Winona getting with the guy that tried to take advantage of her several times, like disrespectfully, and come to terms with destiny.
Very disrespectful.
And like you mentioned, the hey, we got this close. Well, it's the lovers can't unite, right? And that's kind of ultimately just being just right on the cusp of finding your true love. And I watched all that, and I went like, I don't know what I saw. I really don't. And then I started talking about it today. Dropped a couple scenes. Was laughing really hard. And I went, this is just a really goofy, fun time for me. This would be a Halloween recommendation easily with a group of people.
Yeah,
like as long as
this could be a good like Halloween party. I think watch.
Like, don't have too many beers watching this thing.
Yeah,
right. Like, hey, we're all gonna have fun. We're all comfortable in our own skin. All right. Like, just take it for what it is. Don't sit here and try to play it like it's an HBO late night special. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I was so I was telling a friend, hey, like you got to check this movie out. Or I didn't say you had to check it out. I said I watched Dracula. And I said I was not ready for the amount of tits that were in this thing, and it was like, what? And like, he's joking, of course, and I'm like, dude. And so I started explaining something, and I was like, and then it got really weird. I was like, and then it's like, like the vampire, he turns into a werewolf, and then he's like fucking a chick in a graveyard, and then like. Well, no, the girl that he's pursuing ends up finding out, and he's like, she can't see me like this. She'll never love me.
Right.
It's not like
I'm a monster.
Yeah, like, hey, I was just boning this broad. Like, I love you. Like, I gotta get out of here. And then he escapes, and then they're like walking out, and then I love that they're going across the cemetery, and then there's a tree that he hid behind, and he's like sitting there with his arms against it, like. That was a close call,
It's like the kid in the high school teen movie where he's hiding away from the bully in the locker room.
No, I was like, he's got the crush, and he sees her like walking towards, and he's like, and then he hides on her, and he's like, please God, let her walk by, like. So I thought that was just a very funny series of events that happened with a lot of different emotional states that all just felt odd.
It's odd, but I think the way in which is odd is what fascinates me the most. I think the choices that it's making, the sort of like approach that I don't think any other filmmaker would make with this.
No,
only Francis Ford Coppola I think could afford to do and like has the mindset to do, right? The mind of Francis Ford Coppola, twisted.
Whoa.
I mean, what his goals were and like what we ultimately ended up with, to me, is just inherently fascinating. And whether you think that makes for like a good movie or not, I think is just like up to the general person, right? Who experiences this.
Take it as a piece of art.
Take it as a piece of art, and just like if you're ready to like steep yourself like a bag of tea into this like pot of like gothic, erotic, vampiristic, like supernatural, like whatever it is,
I don't know, God.
Victorian era, like kind of fantasy.
Yeah,
I think you're gonna have a good time. Just like let it envelop you and wash over you.
Yeah, don't. to me, my advice is don't read too much into this thing and just let the movie happen.
Yeah.
Like, put it on a surface level.
This is a movie that happens to you.
Yes. 1,000% agreed. This is what I said. Like, there aren't a lot of movies where you can just sit down and kind of just like we're talking about. If you take it as a piece of art and like what's happening, there's practical effects. We're on set. We got people jumping off castles. We got bite marks. Syphilis gets mentioned.
There's
naked,
civilization and syphilization.
yeah, which is like, Anthony Hopkins doesn't. Well, I don't know if he did or didn't. Like, I feel like he was like, that guy's being goofy. I'm gonna do some goofy shit too. But like worked well within kind of the construct of the film. Like, yeah, it's just really weird, fascinating, such a great way. And like I said, I mean, it's just fun if you could turn the blinders off. I think if you're a devout Christian watching this thing, like, you would be appalled and aghast.
Oh my heavens!
Yes.
Oh, a pair of breasts.
Yeah.
Oh, an old vampire man.
See, there's a lot of stimulating noises going on from one character in particular, like several different times.
Yeah.
And it's wild. And then she came back to life, and then they had her in all white, and I laughed. I was like, so that's another thing too, where I just sit there and I know it's a creature of the night and all this. I just thought, like, is that supposed to be her skin color? Are they showing her that, like, we know that she's dead?
I read that a lot of the wardrobe and costume choices, Francis Ford Coppola would simply say, just make it weird. Just make it odd.
That sounds so right.
If it looks too conventional, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense for a lot of the costume choices in this.
A lot of sense. Yes, it does. Especially Gary Oldman.
You know what? I'm a fan. All right. Shall we get into our ratings?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I think I'm going first.
You are going first.
All right. Quite a bit of fun with this, admittedly. I mean, if you listen to this conversation up to this point, you'll know that I had a varying degree of enjoyment with this throughout. That being said, this is not a great movie, in my opinion. It's not one that I would just like immediately throw back on. I think it's a fun, like, holiday, spooky time, movie that you can throw on with some friends, have a good time with. But ultimately, I think what I appreciate about this the most is just like the maximalist energy that this movie provides with the editing, some of the performances. Keanu being an unfortunate casualty in this, it makes me sad.
Taking strays.
Yeah. Oh boy, when he pulls that gun out, though, got me going. Got me fired up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where's
Kapow. Yeehaw! I'm a Texan. Bet you didn't know that.
Where did that gun come from?
Fucking prop
Did they
set.
have a Chekhov gun moment where he just is like, or did he just have it?
I think it's just a gun moment. I think he's just like, yeah, I've got a gun. Fuck you. Shooting your ass.
I'm Leroy James, bitch.
No, there's a lot about this movie that I appreciate, but ultimately I have to acknowledge it's very silly. It's very kind of eye-rolling at times, but I think if you're willing to sort of meet it at its level and immerse yourself in the style of it, then I think you're going to have fun. This is, for me, a 7 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which may shock you with what I'm going to say. Yeah, this is ultimately, to me, was not necessarily like confusing in the sense of a lot of the choices that they put in this thing, especially with relationships, lover quarrels, having to, you really gotta hang your hat on these relationships and believing that the people are in love with each other with what's going on in this thing to really heighten the attitude of it. And I don't think that happened. The lot of questionable scene choices in here. But I've never done mud wrestling, but
we can start.
I was about to say, like, I think like that, like mud wrestling at some point you're just like, yeah, screw it, like that'd be fun, right? Like we're just gonna go out there, or playing in the sand in the rain, right? Like just getting dirty, and there's no rhyme or reason why you're enjoying it. You just are.
Yeah.
And
you just know you're in it and you're having fun.
Yeah. I don't know how. I can't even explain this to a carnival ride. I don't even know how I would really approach it outside of just describing scenes to people that I enjoyed. But the more I've reflected on this, I think I could throw this on within 2 weeks and watch it again. and just like laugh my ass off. And it doesn't make it a good film. I don't think that this is anything close at all to a good film. I know we have differences on that, but I too am also giving it a 7 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we come back around to the same score.
I was thinking 6, and I just sat there. I said, you know what? No, I just enjoyed it way too much. This is Speed 2. Like, this is like another Speed 2, you know, like Congo.
Yeah. Cool. Well, speaking of numbers, I've got a game that I would like to play.
Oh,
It's called Weekend Box Office, where I have you try to guess the top 5 movies of this past weekend's box office.
Jesus, how am I going to do that? I don't even
I'll
know.
give you some hints.
Okay.
I'll give you some hints.
Okay.
So this is for the weekend of October 17th through 19th.
Okay.
This is domestic.
Okay.
So number 1 is a film we literally talked about in this episode right at the start, early on. Horror movie. It's a sequel.
Black Phone 2.
Black Phone 2.
All right. Took me 5 hints.
Number 1.
That's number 1.
Number 1.
I'm gonna struggle.
It's doing well. You know, a little bit of a slow time compared to I think when the first Black Phone came out, but it's still ultimately making money. Horror movie around October.
Yeah.
Number 2 is a third entry in a franchise, kind of inconsistent release. None of these movies have ever, been totally praised. This one, I think, the least of them all, stars an actor that some people would say is
Marathon Man?
problematic. Not Marathon Man.
Problematic actor?
Problematic actor.
Ezra Miller is in this?
It's a sci-fi. People are praising the score.
Okay. Yeah. Sci-fi, third in the franchise, problematic actor.
Yep.
Marathon Man?
No, it's not Marathon Man.
I don't know.
It's Tron Ares.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Tron
I just
Ares.
saw that's going to cost Disney like
$130 million.
if it was body related, it'd be their pinky toe.
I saw Tron Ares. I don't think I told you that. Fine music video. I will say that.
So I remember we were talking about like excited at movies that were coming out, and I was like, I have none, and you're like, you have to have one, and I go, Tron Ares.
You did say that. You did throw that out.
And
I
don't know if I did if I protected myself saying, what's it, Jared Leto in this. I go, he looks like a bad guy, but they're playing him off to be a good guy during bad times. And I was like, I'm confused by the trailer. So I said that the only reason why I'd want to see it is because it looks like kind of music going. And it sounds like it just sucks.
In Nine Inch Nails music, though, goes pretty hard.
Nice.
Number 3, comedy starring one of the actors in the last movie we just talked about.
Comedy's Good Fortune.
Yep, Good Fortune. Not making a ton. Looks like it's not gonna, be successful, but I'm curious about that. I might go see it just for my boy. Aziz Ansari's cursed project that he's been trying to get released for like ever.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then COVID hit.
Oh, that's what happened with this thing.
Yeah. Number 4 is a movie that we talked about on this podcast last episode.
One battle after another.
One battle after another.
Holding strong. Think
it's going to make money once it hits streaming. It's one of those things where it's kind of like the Northman effect.
Yeah.
It's like, enough people have like awareness of this to get it to break even, and then kind of gets over that streaming hump, makes enough money, probably going to be PTA's highest grossing movie, right?
Really?
I mean, I think so.
Well, we can't just sit here and be like, it's barely going to make money and then be like, it's his highest grossing.
Well, when you have a $130 million budget, I think it kind of makes those margins a little more squeezed.
You're saying, you're not talking gross. You're just saying, like, sorry, you are talking gross. We're not talking gross margin.
Yeah.
Right.
Number 5, movie that is...
Marathon Man.
It's not Marathon Man. It is a film that... how do I give a hint for this? I think it's based on a true story.
Yes.
It is, the title of it's interesting because it kind of makes it sound like a superhero movie almost, but it's not. Has a lot to do with surveillance. Peter Dinklage is in it. Kirsten Dunst is in it, but they're not the star.
Begonia?
Not Begonia. It is takes place in a Toys R Us.
Oh, Roofman.
Roofman.
That came out.
That's been out. It's been out for a couple weeks, I think.
The marketing on that thing was like, hey, it's coming out next week.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, I'm kind of interested in this movie. When's it coming out? It's like, oh, it came out last week.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean it came out last week?
Thanks, commercials.
Yeah, like what do you? I
Just in
kind
case
of
you
wanted
guys
to.
forgot, we're gonna air these now.
I kind of wanted to see it. Is there any show times for it? There's 2.
Yeah.
There's
Check just cleared from Warner. We can actually get your commercials out now. Joke's on you, though. It's been released for a week.
Number 6 is a movie called Truth and Treason. I think I saw a poster for that. It has like a swastika on it. It's like about Nazis or some shit.
Okay, that plays.
Number 7 is Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie. Something that I've just like been, aware of, very surface level. Don't entirely know what it is. Number 8 is The Conjuring: Last Rites. Still chugging along. Chugga choo choo.
Shitty third movie franchises.
I think that's the 4th one.
Is it?
Yeah, because the last one was The Conjuring, The Devil Did My Ass or some shit, whatever it was called.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what happened to Keanu and Dracula.
The Devil Did My Ass?
Well, you saw how Oldman looked at him. He's mine, ladies.
Yeah, it just didn't happen on screen.
Yeah. One of the only things that didn't happen on screen.
That's a deleted scene, and by deleted scene, I mean it is gone. You
what
cannot
would you
find
rather watch? The making of Dracula or the making of The Revenant?
I mean, probably the making of Dracula, just because there's so much going on.
Yeah, like
if anything else, just for the ability to see like what Keanu would do to like prepare for a scene, like if he was just like smoking cigarettes the whole time, or if he was actually like in a corner and going like, indubitably, yes, I shall have a coffee. Like,
yeah,
just shit like that,
just in front of the mirror.
Number 9 is After the Hunt, which is that Julia Roberts, Io Edebiri, Andrew Garfield movie. It's about like a professor who like assaults somebody and then gets accused for it. Don't know if you've seen anything about that. Number 10 is Soul on Fire, which I think is just like a Christian faith-based whatever.
We're at that time of the year, huh?
Yep.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. Fall season, getting the kind of Hallmark adjacent movies in there for families to maybe, trick them into thinking it's a good movie and having them go see it. I don't know.
What one, if you could trick a family into seeing a movie on the 10 you just listed, what would be the one you'd trick
If
them
I could
into?
trick a family?
Yeah. Like if you could sell it as a Christian Hallmarky movie, and they could see anything, and you get to, it's any observation that you get.
Realistically, probably One Battle After Another.
That's what you would trick them into seeing?
I think so.
Okay.
I think you can make the case for it.
I'm just saying, like, literally any of those movies, they're gonna go see. Like, it's not like it's not a, this isn't like a sales pitch. Like, you just say, hey,
or it could be Good Fortune because it's literally about an angel.
No, I'm tricking them to see fucking the Conjuring movie. Like, I want to see him like, ah!
Right? How do you spin that? It's them fighting the devil, I guess.
You don't spin out. It's not a sales pitch. I'm just saying, like, if you could say, hey, you guys are gonna like Dracula.
Oh, like we're just like getting one on them.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, now maybe it is Good Fortune, maybe because you want to see how they look at the afterlife and with angels, and if they're telling their kids like, hey, like that's not how it really works. You're not gonna, like, yeah, or Tron Arius,
Tron Areola.
Oh my god.
All right, that was the weekend box office. How did you feel about that game?
That's good. I like the hints. I mean, I did better than what I thought.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
Yeah,
I think it could come back in some form.
Yeah, that plays.
I think it is time for a recommendation.
Oh, yeah, you got a recommendation.
So this movie has been on my mind, and I think I'm just gonna pull the trigger on it.
They Live.
It's not They Live. Very different vibe. Let me see if I can spell this real quick.
Megadoc.
Here we go. Okay. So I want to recommend this. This episode will come out sometime in November, and I think it's appropriate because hunting season is upon us, and this is a very Michigan-centric movie.
That's gonna happen to Moonlight?
How the fuck did you guess it that fast?
Said it's hunting season in Michigan.
You know what? I didn't realize that would give my hand away so much.
Kyle, come on. I mean, I watch movies.
I know you watch movies. I just didn't know.
That was fast.
I should have given you more credit, I guess. But yes, I am recommending
you did give me.
Escanaba.
That was a lot of credit. How the fuck did you get it that fast? You were appalled.
I was offended. I kind of want to like redo.
Yeah, let me go some more on this before you just spit it out.
I'm recommending Escanaba into Moonlight.
Okay. Hey, let's do it because I have probably about the time since I've been about 6 to 7 years old. That movie's been talked about in my life.
Yes,
I've never seen it.
It's referenced heavily in my friend group. They showed it to me for the first time like 5 years ago.
You've seen it?
I've seen it.
Okay.
And I'm curious to revisit it. Don't remember a whole lot. I just remember the vibe.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to discuss it as two Midwestern boys.
Yeah.
Two Michigan
Hey, how
heads.
does it relate? Does this still hold up?
Yeah.
Are we still saying ope?
We're going to get deep into Michigan culture our next episode.
Hell yeah.
So
let's go. The Edmund Fitzgerald, I'm all about it.
Strap in, ladies and gentlemen. Escanaba into Moonlight, directed and starring Jeff Daniels.
Yes, he took all that money from Speed and poured it into this.
Yep. It's money from Speed. You don't think he would have made a little cheddar from Dumb and Dumber?
Oh, that could have been it too. I don't know.
I would wager a little bit.
Hey, hold on. There's a fun game. What made more money?
Dumb and Dumber or Speed?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
That's my guess.
That's your guess. So we're going to do that one. Or how about you look up Dumb and Dumber? I look up Speed.
Good. So Dumb and Dumber made $247.3 million at the box office.
Oh. Are you going gross worldwide?
This is worldwide.
That's worldwide?
Yes.
What'd you say?
$247.3 million.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Speed's at 350 mil, 448. Let's go.
Damn.
Dude, come on.
Damn.
People love their action movies, man.
I know, but this was like Jim Carrey in his prime. It was like the same year as The Mask and fucking Pet Detective or whatever.
Hey, you can't. I mean, that's Pet Detective.
Ace Ventura,
Yeah.
Pet Detective. I'm sorry.
on.
I didn't know I had to specify. Confuse some of our audience.
No,
I didn't know
I'm just saying you can't
if they
knock
think
Pet
of
Detective. I'd knock
Junior
The
Pet
Mask.
Detective or whatever.
Someone has a theory that The Mask is based on taking cocaine.
I mean, maybe we can watch that movie and find out.
Pair it with Escanaba.
Escanaba. That'd be kind of an interesting pairing. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled for Escanaba into Moonlight, be sure to check that movie out before episode 107. McLean, what do we say at the end of this spooky Neon Boo podcast?
WWTHD.
Bye, everybody. The Neon Crew podcast is hosted by Kyle Yates and McLean Parker. Kyle, who is myself, also helps to produce, edit, and upload every episode. Our music was composed by Gideon Hunter. Our artwork was created by Lauren Hunter. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Episodes get scheduled to release every 2 weeks. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube community page for updates and information on upcoming episodes. Want to join the Neon Mafia? Head over to our shop page at etsy.com/shop/the Neon Crew Podcast for some quality, comfortable merch.